2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Whenever I do that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, I think of the Love Is Blindness song.
Such a good song.
Is that by the White Stripes, or is it just him?
It's just him.
It's just him. Do 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 do. All right. Let's keep this thing open. All right. I'm going to refresh that. Okay. Hi everybody. The noise you're hearing is our little girl having really late dinner. I don't know what it is. Babies play by their own rules. Who knows what it is?
Hey, Soft Lump.
Okay, so before we get into anything, how is the sound? I'm talking while firing, and you should be able to hear me very clearly over the sound of the bop, 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 but you should still be able to hear it, like, okay. Sounds fine. It's pretty good. Looks good. Okay. All right. I'm going to turn me down. You sound horrible. Do I sound further away than usual? Because I am. Okay, we got a few people that are saying it's fine. Okay. You sound a bit sick. Do I? I'm sorry. I'm fine. I feel okay. Usually at the start streams, my voice is deeper because I haven't worn my voice out yet by talking for hours. So maybe that's why. Maybe I sound like my voice is deeper than usual. But 1 second, I'm gonna move the microphone. There you go. That might be a little better. Just a little better. Hi, Joe and Lily. Sorry if Lily's misspelled. I can never remember how. Haha.
Okay.
It's just 2 eyes.
Any Lily is okay.
It's okay. Most people get it wrong. Joe, will you play Persona 5 Royal and Scramble? Yeah, probably, yeah. Yeah. Almost certainly, yeah. All right, so let's get settled in, and then we'll get to the questions. So I will explain what's going to go on in just a bit, but right now we're just going to wait for Kate to be done her food, because we don't want to get into too much things while she's eating, but we also didn't want to start too late, because then people might think that it's not happening. So now there's music, so how are we doing with the sound now? I'm turning it down on my end. It's still okay, great. Excellent. So how's everybody doing tonight? My second favorite dad. How are you, Joe? I'm okay. I'm a bit tired. I'm not sick, though. If I sound sick, it's just, like I said, just start a stream, breaking my voice in. We might switch over to a different game if this one ends up being too much trouble. But we'll see how it goes. Fungus. Ooh, okay. There was a patch for this game, and I don't know if I don't know what's new or not because I haven't played it enough, so that's fun. Joe is my very favorite dad. I'm my very favorite dad, too.
Mine too.
Aw, thank you. How's it going, Kate? Was that a yummy bottle? You gonna give a big burp for everybody? Big burp? Want to come to me, see if I can get a big burp out of you? Alright, let's see. Big burp. Whoa, there we go. There we go. Is there another one? Whoa. Whoa. Okay, go back to mine. You might want some more. Here you go. Sorry, she's the most she's the least entertaining of our children. But give her time.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Give her time.
No, you don't want it?
I'll watch those Persona 5 streams or videos. Thanks for answering. Yeah, I think that we should have a good time with that. If it turns out that the Scramble game doesn't really have that much going on with it in terms of story, it's just kind of like, you know, there's like 2 hours of you know, even 2 hours I might still play that for 2 hours of story content, but it was like just like a very brief intro at the beginning and that's it, and there's not much going on with the story, then probably not worth it. But I like those characters a lot, so I'd like to see them again. And I have never played one of those games before. I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game. So it would be new for me. Isn't that something? I don't think I'm going to like it. Toxic Sludge. Alright. I think one of our old mods on Discord loved those games. I think it was Woo. I think Woo loved those games. Alright, let's get it down. So we there's over 100 people here now, so like let's get the intro, and I'll probably have to do the intro at least one more time. So this is a Q&A that we host every Friday. I'm gonna have to say this every single Friday, so sorry if you're here every Friday. We host every single Friday around this time, around 10 p.m. Eastern, after the kids go to sleep, and we answer questions that are given to us ahead of time from patrons on Patreon, and Twitch subs for the first time this session are able to ask questions in a chat room on our Discord server. So if you are a Twitch sub, you have until tomorrow to get your questions in, because it's being closed tomorrow, probably at midnight tomorrow. Patreon is getting closed too. We're probably gonna have to prioritize answering those questions because I looked through them and we have barely made a dent. I think this is by far and away the most amount of questions we've ever received, so I think that we're gonna have to prioritize answering them, and usually we try to take some questions from chat, but I think instead of like taking a question from chat every 2, it might have to be like every 4, maybe even more than that. So sorry about that, but like it's gonna take forever. Why is this water all of a sudden? That's kind of weird. Did it break through something? And no. Huh. Water turns sludge into water. Oh, does it? Okay, so water cleans the sludge? That's interesting. Alright, so this should burn through and I can get this heart, which is what this is all about. Also, don't expect any like high-level like Noita play. Even if this was a normal stream, don't expect any high-level Noita play. But like this is just in the background. If it gets too distracting, I'm going to switch to another game, or I might even pause it. You might be seeing this screen a lot, and then I will just be answering the question full on. And we're going to be starting with the questions somewhat soon.
I'm going to try and put her down.
We just want to get the baby settled, so sorry about that.
See what happens. Because she doesn't want anymore. Bye, everybody. I'm sure I'll be back.
Bye, baby Kate. Are you going to play the Outer Worlds? We are going to play it for one stream next week. I don't know if it's going to be Tuesday or if it's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see. We're playing Katana Zero and Outer Worlds next week. And maybe this too, depending on how it goes. So what did we just get? Let's see. We got a firebolt. Nice. So now we can set fire to wood everywhere. Nice. Good to have. think you talked about doing some Witcher gameplay after the vid on stream. How about the Thronebreaker game? That's game of the year for some people. I know. Really? Is it? I haven't decided if I'm going to commit to having a section on Thronebreaker in the video just yet. I do talk about Gwent, but not as much as you're expecting. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe it is as much as you're expecting, because I feel like most people are expecting the video to be about 6 hours long, and it is much longer than that. So, in terms of like how much you think, you know, in terms of like ratio of content, it's not as much, but in terms of like duration, it probably is around what people think for talking about Gwent. But like my opinion on Gwent, you know, is, you know, fairly positive, but nowhere near as positive as, you know, like it wasn't fuck yeah I get to play Gwent, you know. It's like, it's all right, you know, it's Gwent. Gwent is really different in that game. I might not enjoy it. Well, Gwent got really boring really fast in the main game, because I don't know if it's because of my fuck, I keep spoiling the video, man. I guess there's so few people here. Like if you don't want it, you can jump out for a bit. I realized because of the Hearthstone experience that I have playing that game, and I think, like, you know, it's not like I'm really good at those kind of games or anything, but just enough of that experience was enough to make me realize really early on that card draw was OP. Just like card draw is just the most overpowered thing that there possibly can be in Gwent in the Witcher 3 version. So it was just prioritizing spies as much as I possibly could, and every single game of Gwent that I played was the same game over and over and over and over and over again. I very quickly turned Gwent up to hard. It's on normal by default. I didn't realize there was a default, like there was difficulty settings for Gwent, but I very quickly turned it up to hard, and it didn't matter. It was just play all your spies, keep your deck like fairly lean, you know, like don't fill it with crap, and that was it. And it was just the same battle over and over and over and over and over again for Gwent. But it was still fun to collect the cards. So I think I would probably enjoy whatever like significant changes they make. Yeah, Gwent is something I had solved before leaving White Orchard. Let's put it that way. As stupid as that sounds, so it wasn't that fun for me. Music's good though. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, where are we going? So since streaming this game, I've played this game, I think maybe for 20 minutes on my own. Like I just jumped in real quick and just like did a little bit when I've had 20 minutes to kill without having much of anything else to do, and like didn't have time to commit to like doing a little bit of work. So the only thing that I noticed when playing it was that if you hold down in liquid, you like eat it, which is really weird. I don't understand that. So yeah, that's the only thing. I didn't get very far. I think the first I ever gotten was like on that attempt where I got glass cannon, if you watched the stream before. What? Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of shit. I don't understand that, but okay. All right, so let's say thank you to some people before we get behind. Thank you to Bossa Nova Switch, Autumn Toucan, Craig Rod, Unovalosity, and Chip on Yasu for subbing while the stream was down. Streaming while the sub was down. Subbing while the stream was down, thank you very much. And since we got started, thank you to Death by Doom for the new sub. Are there just a bunch of new subs, or is my list broken? Because usually there aren't that many new subs that come in. But yeah, thank you for the new sub, Death by Doom. Welcome to the Dragon's Den. Thank you, Said TV, or C3D TV, for the 2-month resub with the message, I should probably pause it, right? That's fine. 2 2 months in the cringe connoisseurs. Thank you very much. Thank you, Guan2608316. We read numbers out on this stream. Thank you very much for the new sub of Prime. Welcome to Prime Time. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Confuselon, or Confusion with an L, just to confuse you. It makes sense. It's a deep name. For the 15-month resub. 15 months on the Yeet Fleet.
Death by Doom is a new sub?
Yeah.
Should have been like a lot
Isn't
more
this
than-
like my 18th sub? Yeah, sorry, it's showing up as a new sub. I've said your name before, but it has an underscore, and I can't remember like things like underscore. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you have the chat icon, so I don't know why it's showing up as a new sub here.
Welcome.
Thank you for the 18-month resub. Sorry that my list is busted. Sorry about that. I think someone made me a little program to run that will pull it out, or maybe that was just for links. I think that was Naja actually. Maybe I should look into getting one of those. There's probably one that exists for helping. Can you like for the 15-month in the Yeet Fleet? Can you say R, like a pirate?
Arr.
Wow, that was way more effort than I was expecting. Thank you, Unofficially Jam, for the new sub. Pretty good.
Artificially Jam.
Unofficially Jam.
Unofficially Jam.
That's a pretty good name. Thank you, Unofficially Jam. Welcome to the pickle pile. You can make pickle jam if you try hard enough, right? Thank you very much. Thank you, Flamoctopus, for the 12-month resub. Welcome to the 1 Year Club, Flamoctopus. Always fun to say your name. Thank you, thank you. 1 year in the Cringe Cafe. You like the Cringe Cafe, don't you?
I like the Cringe Cafe, but I kind of feel like something like a salamander saloon. When I was pregnant with Kate, Flamoctopus used to drink for me.
Yeah?
He had many beers for me because I couldn't drink any. So I think it should be like a bar or a pub or a saloon or something, not a cafe.
Or, and I understand this is going to be quite the controversial suggestion, okay? Because Flamoctopus is a flamingo and an octopus, maybe it should be, thank you for spending 1 year in the Shih Tzu.
You just don't want to say Shih Tzu. Can you drink at the Shih Tzu? Maybe you have to drink at the Shih Tzu.
I think you have to drink at the Shih Tzu. Well, it's so shit. What else are you going to do? That's what I think. We're really low on life. This game's hard. Oh, we're a flying sheep. That's lovely, lovely. Thank you, Real Fake Name, for the 7-month resub. Thank you very much. 7 months incognito. Thank you very much, Real Fake Name. Thank you very much. Thank you, Taco Waveable. Always good to see you, Taco Waveable, for the 21-month resub. 21 months means I can buy alcohol, right? Right. I always thought it was weird that the States had such a... It is 21
now, yeah.
years, right? In the States. What is it up here? Is it 18 or 19?
18.
It's 18? 21 seems really old to me.
Well, it depends where you are. I think it might be different in Quebec, but like it's usually 18.
It's probably
I think
just...
it's 18 to drink, but it's like 19 to smoke, and then 16 to start driving, and it's really all over the place when you really think about it.
It's probably always legal in Quebec.
Is it 18 in Quebec? Is it 19 in Ontario? I thought it was the other way around.
Damn.
I'm old now. It doesn't matter.
I think Americans should be able to drink the same age that they can enlist. I think you should be able to do everything.
Is it really 19? I thought it was 18.
Even smoking, and I think smoking is like Satan incarnate. Okay, let's go through. Whoa, that was bright. Okay. Thank you, Taco Waveable, for that little journey that we went on there, talking about your name. Thank you. Sorry about your sub message. Thank you. 21 months in the Daijobu Doju. What the hell's that down there? Huh. Can we bomb our way in? Worm crystal. Yeah, maybe not a good game for the Q&A, but here we go. And thank you, Worm Crystal is shattered. You feel less safe. All right, well, we're going to regret doing that. Thank you to Dominus LT for the last person on our list for the 21-3 sub with Anders Yusuke soon. Thank you, Dominus LT, for the 20 months in the Dragon's Den or the Rub-a-Dub sub club. Thank you very much. So let's get right to it. Let's get to the first question on Patreon, which means we can start talking about The Witcher. I'm not even kidding. Here you go.
Is it Samu or Samu?
I'm not sure. I think it's probably Samu, but
Samu?
I'm not sure.
Samu K. It says, "Hey Joe, just a quick question, but what are your opinions on Cyberpunk 2077?
Yep.
And the energy surrounding it. Also, do you know if you'll do a review on it or not?"
I'm debating like how much I should say. So there's almost certainly going to be a video on Cyberpunk, but I might want to wait until we it gets some DLC and like, you know what I mean? Witcher 3 is okay, so Witcher 3 is really relevant obviously because it's the same people, you know. Witcher 3 is greatly enhanced by the DLC, and playing Witcher 3 has made me very, very worried. Playing all the Witcher games has made me very, very worried and concerned for Cyberpunk and for the reception that Cyberpunk is going to get. It is undoubtedly going to be like a big hit. Like everyone has worked themselves into such a frenzy right now that like there's no possible way that even if it is bad that the collective subconscious is going to admit that it's bad. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure they're going to hit enough of on the spectacle and like the cinematic storytelling kind of thing. They've already shown that they've got that down, that it's going to be fine no matter what. Like I really don't think that there's any possible way that game is not going to be a Game of the Year contender next year. You know, I don't even know how bad it would actually have to be for it to get like that. So I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, whereas Death Stranding, for some reason I think Death Stranding has a chance of getting kind of panned if it doesn't do all that well. So right now we're sucking up all the water. Look at that. Okay, so the reason why I'm concerned about Cyberpunk is that game developers need to, in my experience for what I'm seeing, even just software developers in general, and I guess it's going to transfer over even to into movies and stuff too. Like, look how much money they throw at those DC movies and how like terrible they are in a lot of ways, compared to the Marvel movies, but also compared to a lot of other action movies too. The one with the Batman and Superman in it, the newest one, Justice League recently came up on Netflix, and that's the only way I see movies, and I couldn't believe just how bad the CGI in that is. Like it looks like a soap opera from like that you would see in the middle of the day, you know. I don't get it. It looks absolutely awful. By the way, I can probably take this away so you can read chat. Sorry about that.
That's right.
Like it was just goddamn terrible, you know. Like the whoever they have playing the Flash looks like he should be on like a TV show, not like in one of the biggest kind of movie events that, you know, they're trying to compete with, like the big record setter right now, you know. It's anyway, the point I'm taking too long to make is that different production companies and game devs and even software devs, I think we're even seeing that a little bit with Epic Games Store. Sorry to bring them up, but you know, it takes a while, even if you have all the money, to gain proficiency in a lot of these things. So the fact that they're going for this big, huge first-person shooter and a sci-fi setting without having ever done anything like that before makes me nervous. And the big thing that people point to is that, you know, they've had a bunch of successful games already, so maybe it'll transfer, and I just don't think it will. It took them 3 games to get Witcher 3. You know, that it's Witcher 1, 2, and 3 are very similar in a lot of ways. But in terms of gameplay, you know, it's the same kind of, like, they're quite different, but it's the same kind of like fantasy that they're going for. And I don't mean fantasy in the terms of like dragons and orcs and dwarves and stuff. I mean that, you know, each game like that has the kind of like role-playing fantasy of like, okay, well, if you play Mass Effect, I'm like space spy guy, and I get to like play out the fantasy of being the space spy guy. And in Witcher, it's like I get to play out the fantasy of being like the gritty monster slayer and that sort of thing. And the gameplay is supposed to reflect that, and they do a decent job of it in you know, Witcher 1 for like the first attempt and everything, but it was still like really, really rough. And it took them like 3 other games before they just got that to the point where it's like what I consider like acceptable, borderline, maybe not even all of it acceptable for a really big AAA game. So I'm really concerned about like how the shooting is going to feel, how the combat's going to feel, and you know, it's probably going to be quite a long game. Like I'm really have my concerns about that, and I don't think it's going to be all that great in terms of gameplay. In terms of story, it'll probably be fine, but again, more spoilers for the video. You know, it's related to this. Maybe this was the intent. Maybe they're being sneaky. Samu's being sneaky and knows that they can get me talking. Is that the story in the Witcher games? You know, arguably gets worse with each game for the main story. For the quality of the writing, it gets better overall, especially the characters and the characterization and the dialogue and everything. It gets much better. But in terms of the main story, I think you could make a really solid argument of which one's better, 1 or 2, but like 3, I think, is like the main story is inarguably the worst out of the 3. Like it's really disappointing and is really bad. And you will hear like way too many reasons and too much detail about that, you know, over the years to come whenever the fucking thing's finished. But yeah, so I am concerned about that. But this is like a blank slate. It's their own kind of thing. Well, it's not a full blank slate, you know. Cyberpunk was its own thing. I'm not that familiar with it though. But yeah, they do have more freedom, I think, this time. So maybe that'll be fine. But yeah, I have my big concerns. We'll almost undoubtedly be a video on it at some point, but like I said, I'm not sure if we're gonna wait for the DLC or we're just gonna dive right in. I'm guessing that there's gonna be a few months before, like between the Witcher video being done and Cyberpunk coming out. You know, I'm not foreseeing that it's gonna be like 2 weeks before, you know, the game comes out is when that video is going to be done. I mean, I guess it's possible if something goes horribly wrong, or if, you know, something takes me way longer to do than I think. But yeah, so there will be like a significant gap, but I still might be like trying to take a bit of a break in the meantime. And my chest is hurting like really bad. 1 second, I need to stretch, I think. Oh man. It's like right in the center, like right below my neck, right here. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think it's how I'm sitting.
I'm just gonna stand.
Oh yeah, like when I turn that way, it hurts even more. Oh, what about the other way? That way's okay. All right. Oh.
Again, you're sitting a lot. So.
Ow. Yeah. Let me try to sit up straight. Boomer. Yeah, I'm pretty old. I'm 34 next month. Hey Joe, how's your wife? You can ask her yourself. She's right here.
Hey Novikania. How you doing?
Why do you keep asking how my wife is? Magic arrow. Ooh, that's better. All right, let's use that one. Oh, that hurt again when I took a deep breath. All right, I think that's all I can say. I've been trying to stay away from the trailers of Cyberpunk. Oh, there's one last thing I can say. So I have a big concern that the game. First of all, I feel like they're just like hardcore targeting Reddit, and Reddit really annoys me, and I hate to be that kind of person that just like I like that just hates on Reddit, you know, while also using Reddit quite a bit because it's just like the best content aggregator that there is. But like I just feel like they're it's like Reddit core of the game, and Reddit really annoys me. So that kind of puts me off a little bit too. Like the whole Keanu thing, you know, like I like Keanu Reeves. I really like John Wick. I really like The Matrix. You know, I used to watch that movie religiously when I was a kid. Like The Matrix is kind of like my Star Wars, you know. I didn't watch the second and third one as much, but the first one was right up there with Gladiator for like the movie of my teenage years that I would just like watch. You know, it would just sometimes just be on in the background like all weekend. You know what I mean? Like I would just watch that movie again and again and again. So I really like Keanu Reeves, and I think he gets a little too much hate for you know, he's a better actor than I think most people give him credit for, or like. I don't know if that's true or not. Actually, like maybe it's like the hate for his acting is a little overblown, but you know, I think he's decent. You know. Anyway, so, but like when that came out, it's like, oh my god, that was like a really cool moment. And it's like it just feels like it's pandering to Reddit. But then I started thinking about more. It's like, okay, well, is it just going to be like this game is just you just hang out with Keanu Reeves simulator? Because at some point with stardom, and Keanu Reeves is like, I don't know if Keanu Reeves is an A-lister at this point, or maybe he's like an e-celeb A-lister because of how much like Reddit just fawns all over him, and like there's two worlds, the real world and the internet world. But there is a level of stardom that can just overshadow a whole entire project, you know? And I do worry if there's that kind of thing. It'd be like if Patrick Stewart was suddenly announced to be like one of the main characters in The Last of Us Part 2. It'd be like, okay, well, is Patrick Stewart, is this game just now, hey, it's a vehicle for Patrick Stewart, you know? So I hope I'm wrong, but I'm concerned that it's just going to be hang out with Keanu Reeves Simulator, and that's not really what I want out of a game. And I think that's where I'll end it, and I won't talk about it anymore. But yeah, I'm trying to avoid the trailers from here on out, and I don't think I've seen anything more than maybe 30 seconds of gameplay, apart from the initial like in-game trailer that wasn't really gameplay. The tone of that really set me off. I was like, I don't really like this, but then the other trailer was better. Like I saw the boobs in the ice bath, and then I stopped, and I was like, okay. So yeah, all right, I'll shut up now. I hope it's good. As always, I hope it's good. Were there any comments that were repeated during that were related to the answer?
No.
No? Okay.
Nothing repetitive, just one-offs.
All right. Next question on Patreon. Oh, there's one other thing I needed to say about the Q&A format. If you are someone who asked their question this week, the chances of it getting answered tonight are pretty much slim to none. The amount of questions that we have when we read them in order, there are probably some people that gave their questions in, you know, within 5 days of the prompt going up, and they might not get answered tonight. So just be aware of that. If you're sitting around like waiting for your question to come up, you can read through the list of questions that are there. We're going in the order that they came in, occasionally switching between Patreon and Twitch. We're not going chronologically, you know, between the two. We're just switching whenever we feel like between them. So just be aware of that. I don't want someone just like who just put their question in last night and is just sitting here all day waiting for their question. Like we're gonna stream for about 3 hours, so the chances of that happening are really low. Just so you know. Coke or Pepsi? Coke. I think someone asked that last week, didn't they?
Oh no.
Someone's calling you.
I'm gonna place bets that he wants you.
Probably, but he hasn't been down that long, so I would just tell him go to sleep. Sorry, Finn's awake. Trick question, the actual answer is apple juice, the best beverage there is. My favorite drink is just water. I drink a lot of water. But that's my favorite drink. I really like Coke, but yeah, water's the big one for me. Thunderstone. Alright, we got Thunderstone. Alright, where's an Eevee? Water is my favorite drink is an old person thing to say, but it's been that way since I was younger. I've always liked water. I've always drank a crap ton of water. I'm always thirsty. I always have been. I'm a very thirsty kind of person. I don't know why. But yeah, I always like to have a drink, and it's usually water. Yeah, I know how it sounds. Sorry. Yeah. Thirsty. Yeah. You millennials. And your elite speak. So I wonder what's the best way to play this game? Is it to just go as far down to the bottom as you possibly can to get some quick upgrades? Or is it just, fully explore each area and then, find the different teleportals? I wonder. That's what trash can exists? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, see, like you can like mop up the water by crouching on it. It's weird. We prefer the term Zoomers. Thank you very much. Zoomers are millennials, are they? And the generation we're making are the Doomers. Because they're fucked. How is he?
He wants to.
Yeah?
I want you to go give him a hug. He wanted to come in and give you a hug, and I said no.
Is he upset?
Very.
Oh,
he wants a hug, that's all. He wanted to come in, but if he comes in, he's not going to leave.
I don't mind giving him a hug, it's just...
No, it's just thin. I think he wanted to come out, and then I said no, and he wasn't happy. I said no. Pink asparagus. I always like your name. It's a really fun kind of name. How's everybody doing? My favorite drink is probably lemonade. I really like lemonade. First time catching the stream. Thanks, Insomnia. Good to be here. Welcome. Sorry you have insomnia, but glad that you're here. I'm okay, Anton. It was a bit of a long day. They were a little bit mommy all day. What's the game you most want to try out? It was that Tetris one. Was it Tetris Effect or something? The really cool looking Tetris one. I haven't had Mate T, no. Yeah, insomnia does suck. Really tired. It's 5 a.m. here, but I want to stick around and hope my question is answered. Oh. I don't know. I don't remember where you are on the list.
He's not that upset. He's okay.
No, he was like gripping my hand and he wouldn't let me go and ready to cry.
He was okay when I went in there. Woskis?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not the next one, but the one after that. So the chances are you're going to be answered in sometime in the next hour at the latest, I think, unless there's a big interruption again. We have one person on Patreon, and then we're gonna go over to Twitch. Sorry, Twitch. Yeah, Twitch subs. Sorry, my chair is very creaky. The pillow or the whatever the backrest in it is like creaking like crazy.
I don't mind them calling. Like, you want them to call for so long. You want mama and everything to be said, but it's a lot when it's like it's constant and it's all day long sometimes that it's just between the two of them. It's mommy, and then I think you said this on a stream, didn't you? You gave an example of like it's like mommy and then mommy until you acknowledge, and then after you say yes, Finn, he still says mommy. I want this,
for every
and
follow-up question.
And then you say,
yeah.
Okay, Finn, and then you do it, and then like literally 30 seconds later, it's mommy, and and then whatever he wants again. So it's like just all day long. Today was especially mommy over everything else.
Mommy, you like chocolate milk? Yes, Finn. Mommy, yes, Finn. You like other milk too? Yes, Finn. Mommy, yes, Finn. I no like chocolate milk. Okay. And just like every single part of the inquiry has to have its own kind of address and acknowledgement. What's Joe doing interrupting the live stream? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Do I worry that Joseph's weebness is going to taint the children? No.
Wow.
No, that's,
Wow.
you know, we aren't till death do us part. Like, we didn't take the vow, right? But we pretty much took the vow. So, yeah, we're in it for good, right? For better or worse, for weebness or not.
Path of the Dark Flame. Spark bolt with double trigger. Is he talking again?
He's calling again.
You're going?
If I don't go, I'm going to worry about it.
Ooh, this is pretty cool. Does it do damage to us? Takes all my mana, though. No, it doesn't. I'm surprised. Alright, nice. Alright, let's see what upgrade we get. Have you decided what to play on Tuesday? It's probably going to be Katana Zero, and then we'll switch to whatever, the Outer Worlds after that. For the next day. Saving Grace, Vampirism. I don't know what any of these are. Vampirism sounds like you get health back when you're in blood. Oh, we lost some life for it though. Okay. That's okay. Yeah, sorry that we're not answering any questions. This is just, you know, we're gonna have to explain this every week. I think this is just how reality is at the moment around here. So do I have to drink it like I'm in it or what? How long were the Code Vein streams? I think it was 10 streams. I think we played it for about 38 hours or so. Something like that. Okay, so does the Dark Flame make fire? No. Okay, you would think it would be fire, but okay, I guess not. Pretty powerful. Oh, it's slime, not monster blood. Alright, my bad. Alright, if Lily's not back soon, I think I'm gonna say the question myself. Hope she's not mad. Oh no, what if she's mad? She's probably gonna be fine. Huh, I thought these were only short streams, my bad. There were a couple that were longer, because there was, I just wanted it done for the last one, but the other ones were, whatchamacallit, there was two that were longer because we skipped the stream on one of the days. Because I needed to go, take the kids to an appointment. But yeah, in general, the streams were only about 3 hours. Dem's the rules until Witcher's done. Thank you, Chuffed, for the 513 sub. Sorry it took me so long to see it. Thank you very much, Chuffed. 5 months in the Dragon's Den. Thank you, thank you. Hope you're still here. Just started playing Crosscode over the last few days, Joe, based on your enjoyment of the game. Really liking so far. Do you remember how long it was? 23 hours? Yeah, about that, I think, yeah. I can actually tell you, hold on. I can tell you exactly how long I played it for. Crosscode, I played... Oh, wow. Okay, never mind. Whoops. Okay, so I don't know. I didn't play it twice, but there was like... I did play it for a bit, and then I restarted for some reason. Like, I had a false start with it for whatever reason, but Steam says I played it for 74 hours. So I might have kept it on at some point. So like that's a bad habit I have. I just leave something on. I just walk away for a bit. But it might have been more like 50. I don't know. Did you ever play Persona 3 4? No, I haven't. It's like 50, 60 if you do all the quests and stuff. I think I did almost every quest, yeah. I think there was some endgame stuff that I didn't bother doing when it came to gearing up your character. I was like, I don't need to do that. I didn't feel like I needed it, so I didn't bother. Will you still be streaming at this time once streams are back fully? This stream is a weekly thing. Every Friday we're going to be doing this for as long as the kids let us, which, you know, tonight is pretty bad because like Lily's still not back. So, yeah. But for as long as we can, we're going to be doing this every Friday. Congrats on beating the Cannoneer and the Blade Bearer solo. By the way, I struggled with them with a companion for several hours yesterday. The playthrough overall was great. I wish I watched it live. Thanks. Assume that you got through it eventually, so congrats on beating them too. Quite possibly not the hardest Souls-like boss I've ever fought, but it's up there. Harder than ONS for sure. Ornstein and Smo. Spitterbolt with timer, magic missile, bounce, explosion. Okay, I don't think we have any real room for bringing it, and honestly, I don't really understand how it works, so we're just gonna stick with what we have. It seems to be fine. I hope there's plans for Persona 3 or 4 streams sometime in the future. I like those just so much as 3. Yeah, we're gonna play Persona 3, 4, and 5 Royal, and probably Shuffle over the next year, or maybe or into 2021. Because they're really, really, really long games. But yeah, we're going to be doing that. There's a lot of stream commitments I have, though. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those especially. I think there'll be some fun streams. I'm thinking that when we go back to Persona 5 Royal that we might get some custom emotes made like in preparation for it, and we'll have like an emote of every single character so people can like put their favorite character like in the emotes when they're on the screen or whatever. I think that could be fun. Because I think you're allowed to do that, right? You're allowed to just change your emotes like whenever you want, right? Like there's no restriction. There's no law. Okay, so I just heard one of the doors close, so I think Lily might be coming back, and then we can go to the other question, but if she's not here in like maybe another minute or so, I'm just going to read the next one. Okay, so what's this? Like frozen vapor? Can we have a Himiko emote, please? See, that sounds like a good idea, but like, is it? I feel like some of those, like the emote, for the emote to have longevity and to actually be like something that a lot of people are gonna want, it needs to have like more meaning than just, hey, it's the character, you know? It has to have the expression. Like I was expecting that the Danny emote, if anyone can put the Danny emote in chat right now, I thought the Danny emote was going to be the big one that survived because it's such a good like expression, but it's actually the Chiaki emote that gets the most because of the pout. Yeah, there's a Danny emote. It seems like the Chiaki one has the most mileage and might be our most used one. The pickle also gets some use because it has that kind of like that smug kind of face, and sometimes I say I go into Nagito voice. But yeah. So I think it has to have that kind of thing. So it would depend on what the artist goes for, I think. But it's good to have multiple use. So Lily's back. How's it going, Lily?
It's going.
Is he okay?
He was crying a little bit.
What? He was fine when I was in there.
He was crying, and I want to come out. I can't sleep. He was playing the Switch because he couldn't sleep, and the Switch battery ran out, and he still can't sleep. So he's got nothing to do, right? And then he's crying, and then I want to come out. I want to come out. You know, you can't come out. And then Mommy, yes, Finn. I want to come out. I don't like it in here. I know, Finn. I'm sorry. Mommy, yes, Finn. I know, like needles. I know, Finn. Needles hurt a little bit. Yes, I know, Finn. I know. Mommy, you like needles? No.
I kind of sucked there.
Daddy like needles? Leo like needles? Baby Kate like needles? Everybody like needles? Everybody needs needles sometimes. But you get lots of donuts when you have needles, right? Mommy, if I have 3 needles, can I have 3 donuts? If I have 4 needles, can I have 4 donuts? If I have 5 needles, can I have 5 donuts?
Wow. So you had a good conversation while you were gone.
So it's just exactly what I was saying right before I went, right?
Mm-hmm. The thing I just said, like, you know, I had to take the kids to an appointment. They had their vaccination, so the treat for getting the needle is that they get to have a donut. And
He's okay now.
And it plays like double duty as well because the boys are a little underweight, so it gets them to eat a little bit more. Okay.
Finn's 4.
You vaccinate your children? Of course, of course.
But yeah, he's okay now, so we'll see how long that lasts. And poor Leo's trying to sleep, and he keeps waking up every time I go in.
Poor kid. I feel so bad for Leo having to put up with Finn's bullshit sometimes, you know? Oh man, I feel bad. I feel worse for Finn though because at least Leo gets to sleep. But yeah, it's not fun for Leo. Wait, Joe, did you play the Al Simonian files? No, I didn't. No. We'll play that at some point. We'll do that, and we'll do 999 before that. I think. I'll take on the evil of doing that. Okay, what could go wrong? Stouts yourself in gasoline. Wow, it actually works. Good job, game, because that makes sense. Huh. Good job, game. All right, can we go over and grab the gold before the like can the fire go out before it disappears? Nope, it's gone. All right, that kind of sucks. All right, so let's go to the next question on Patreon. Sorry about that. This is just how it is, guys. Sorry. I'm gonna apologize a lot because that's just the kind of person that I am. Sorry for apologizing so much.
Excerpt Haddock says, "Hey Joe, you may have answered these questions before, but I thought I'd ask anyways. What do you think about video game movies? They've rightly earned their bad reputation, but is there a way to do them effectively? Does it just depend of the game that's being adapted? Is it even worth it?"
Is that the whole question?
That's the first question.
Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna do a Google search in just a second and tell you what video game movies I've seen, but I do want to tell you that I'm like I should be like notorious. I was notorious with my friends for this, for having not seen a lot of movies. It was a long time, like within the past like 5 years that I first saw Die Hard for the first time. You know, that's my go-to example of how many movies I have not seen. So yeah, I've never seen a Lethal Weapon, you know, so I haven't seen a ton of movies. I think I've probably seen more TV shows than movies, don't know why, but yeah, I was mostly into games very early, and I just played a lot of games growing up than I did with movies. So the question here is basically, can video game stories be adapted to movies effectively? And the answer is yes. Yeah, of course they can, because most video game stories don't use the medium to their advantage. Most video game stories try to emulate movies. I think that many video game stories have more comparisons to be made with books actually than movies, but yeah, I think that's for another time, because someone else someone asked a question about that later on in the Q&A, so we'll be talking about that later, or maybe next time. Many video game stories try to be movies, so it should translate over to movies. However, they have the same problem as action movies, and this is something I've said quite a few times on stream before, is that action movies have to have an excuse for characters to fight. They have to have this excuse for there to be combat and conflict in a physical way, not just a standard traditional conflict of like character wants something to happen, there's something else that's getting in the way of them having that happiness or whatever. There has to be like a reason for them to know how to fight, you know. That's what the action movies are there for, whether that's like they've trained and studied and they have a lot of experience, or you know, they're a special person, or if they're like going on the hero's journey kind of thing, and they're the kind of person that gets something special happen to them at the beginning, and then they gain that power to be able to have fight scenes, or they inherit like a robot maid or a robot power armor or something, you know. I mean, I don't know, like there's probably a genre that does that a lot, right? And so that's kind of the thing that happens with video games, and there are only a certain amount of stories that you can tell with that before you are going to have trouble, you know, and you have to be really, really creative, and writing is fairly hard, you know. I think you can make a really strong argument that a lot of stories that end up being great are just great accidentally, that most writers have to just throw shit at the wall enough times before they get something that is a hit, and then they just run with it, you know. We spoke about that last week, I think. So I I don't want to shit on action movies stories too much, you know. Like some of them can have like a good emotional core, and they can be fun, especially when you're younger. But I wouldn't really call a lot of them to be like some of the best stories that I've ever seen in my life, you know. Even some of the best action movies, you know. I think one of my favorite action movies of recent years is Fury Road. I love Fury Road so much, but I wouldn't call that a great story, you know. It has a decent amount of world building, and it's an intriguing setting, but you know, I like those characters, or I like that character that we had, like Charlize Theron's character and Tom Hardy's character, but for the most part it was about the action, you know. Like I really like the action scenes in that, and that's what video games try to be too. So I think the problem is that a lot of video game movies don't have enough of a budget to get the action part right, and they try to be traditional movies without realizing that they're kind of stuck kind of being de facto an action movie. So yeah, I would be more interested to see what a movie based on like BioShock would be like, or God forbid Undertale, you know what I mean? Like just to see what it would be like, and I don't think it could ever translate, but maybe because there isn't this focus on action all that much, that you would be able to make it work, like ironically enough. Maybe it would be easier, I don't know. It would be a different kind of, it would definitely be an adaptation, you know? It would sort of be like a book that has a lot of narration and you're in the character's head a lot, and then when they make a movie, they don't have a narrator, you know, like you're losing a big part of it, but that's why it's an adaptation, right? Like maybe it would be something new, and it would be interesting no matter what. But yeah, that's how I view video game stories. They're at their core, they're just action movies because they have to justify the fighting, and I don't think I could name 10 games that justify their fighting in their combat systems in a interesting way, other than just like, okay, yeah, there's fighting in this, you know. Some strange games like it's almost like the fighting is divorced from the whole thing, and they barely even acknowledge it, you know. Especially the amount of like trash mobs you might fight, especially in like a JRPG or something, you know. Well, JRPG is kind of like just an RPG, you know, like they barely acknowledge it. Yeah, but anyway, let me look up and see what video game movies I've seen. I know I've seen Resident Evil. Video game movies. List of films based on video games. All right, so there are a bunch of them. Okay, so I'm going to read it out, and I'm going to say have seen it. Super Mario Bros. Unfortunately, I have seen that. It was terrible. Double Dragon, have not seen that. Street Fighter, unfortunately, again, have seen that. Mortal Kombat. I think Mortal Kombat is actually a pretty good movie. It's cheesy as fuck, but I liked that when I was a kid. I enjoyed the Mortal Kombat movie. I have seen Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but I do not remember it. Wing Commander, haven't seen it. Lara Croft Tomb Raider, that's the one with Angelina Jolie, right? 2001. Yeah, I've seen those, but I don't remember them. Not the biggest Angelina Jolie fan. Tomb Raider was before the Resident Evil movie? Really? The first Resident Evil movie was 2002, and Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider was 2001? Wow, that is not the way I remember that being. Holy shit. I do not remember it that way. Okay. Yeah, I've seen Resident Evil. Resident Evil is okay. It's decent. I saw that in the theater, actually, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was alright. I saw the second one and I was really annoyed with the second Resident Evil movie that there's a scene. It's actually my go-to scene and go-to example of when a writer doesn't understand their own world and their own story and has just assumed something. So the zombies in the Resident Evil franchise are from a virus that is passed between people that was man-made. And there's a scene in the second Resident Evil movie where the main character, who I can't even remember her name is it Alice? It is Alice. Nice. Mila Jovovich, or is it Mila?
Mila. She's
Mila
Mila.
Jovovich. She's pretty hot. I like her.
She's okay. She's kind of severe looking.
I like her. Anyway, so she's in walking through a cemetery in the second movie, and a bunch of zombies start coming out of their graves. You know, when the city is under quarantine with this big thing, and it's like, you know, that's not how zombies work in that world. Like you're just assuming that because it's a zombie movie that people would be rising from their graves. So that's actually my go-to, like that's a really big fuck up. You know, like that's like that happens in Resident Evil 3. I'm sorry. Like that's a really big fuck up, you know? Like you can't have that, you know? That doesn't make sense within the context of how the virus and the zombie outbreak works, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's like a really good go-to example of them getting that wrong. But like that's like it's like kind of a cheesy dumb movie, so it doesn't ruin it, but it's kind of like, oh man. Yeah, all right, let's keep going. I've seen the second Lara Croft movie, but I don't remember it. Haven't seen House of the Dead. Have not seen Alone in the Dark or Doom or Blood Rain. Oh my god, is that one of those U-Ball movies? Ben Kingsley is in this? How did they get Ben Kingsley to be in the fucking Blood Rain movie? Kristanna Loken as Rain, a vampire who seeks to kill her father. Okay. I played the Blood Rain game, and I thought that the second half of that was actually alright. The first half was pretty bad. Silent Hill, I have not seen. I would actually be really interested in watching the Silent Hill movie to see how that translates. Is it based on the first one or the second one? I would really like to play that. To see that. I would be interested in that. Let's keep going. Haven't seen Dead or Alive. Resident Evil Extinction, no. Postal, no. Hitman, yes. I've seen Hitman. That was okay. I thought Hitman was a decent like action movie. It was all right, you know. It's like C to B tier, like basic action movie. I think that translates well into an action movie, but the Hitman games aren't like that. So it's weird, right? I've seen the second Hitman movie too, but I don't really remember it all that well. So that's kind of an example of them taking it to an action movie and it becoming like a bog standard action movie, but that's not how the games are at all. So it's a really, really bad adaptation in that sense, but it was an entertaining movie. There was a Far Cry movie? What? God damn. Haven't seen the Far Cry movie? No. Max Payne I have seen. I thought that was okay. Like, I like the Max Payne games, and I remember seeing that. I thought that was all right. You know, it was like not something I'm ever gonna want to watch again. And I don't like Mark Wahlberg, so that kind of like put me off a little bit. But I thought that was okay. So out of like, unfortunately, because the movies are so bad, that would probably still be in the top 5 of video game adaptations. So Max Payne was okay. Street Fighter Legend of Chun-Li, I'm only just learning about this right now. Tekken movie, I didn't know about that. Prince of Persia, I have not seen. I heard that was actually all right. Have not seen the Prince of Persia. Haven't seen any of the new Resident Evils. Silent Hill Revelation, no. Need for Speed, what? Hitman Agent 47, I have seen. It was all right. Warcraft, no. Assassin's Creed, no. I really like Michael Fassbender, but I haven't seen that. Resident Evil, no. The new Tomb Raider with Vikander, right? Alicia Vikander. Haven't seen that. Haven't seen Rampage. Haven't seen the new Pokemon movie, and that's it here. They're making a Monster Hunter, Uncharted movie, a new Mortal Kombat, and a Minecraft movie. Interesting. And then there are a bunch of international ones. Okay, so that was probably too long and in depth, but sorry about that. But yeah, those are the ones I've seen. That's my information dump on those.
With Ninja Theory making Hellblade by themselves and Bungie's semi-recent split with Activision,
Yep.
do you think there will be more of a push for publisher-less AAA games now that it's been proven that companies can pull it off? Thanks and good luck with the Witcher videos.
Thank you for the luck. I'll need it. I have no idea. Sorry, I don't even know what a publisher does for video games apart from taking care of most of the marketing. But even then, yeah, in the era of like you just most like I'm looking at it as like a potential indie dev in the future. Like I guess it's like more of a badge of quality and everything, but like and they'll work to get you any physical release of anything that you do. But I don't really even know what a video game publisher does, to be honest. So I have no idea how to answer this question. I'm gonna say that the only thing I can say is that I think we're gonna see more and more video game companies try to push to get their own kind of launchers and stuff, and maybe that's when they're going to start self-publishing it, or they're going to make their own publishing company to go with or something, or there's going to be more big like conglomerates like joining forces for that sort of thing, kind of like what Activision and Blizzard did. Funnily enough, I'd be curious to see what happens with the new Bungie games, if they're still going to be on that launcher. But yeah, I don't know enough about it, sorry to say. No fucking clue. They do some funding? Do they really? Yeah, all I know is that it's more about marketing, and I would assume that they would be deeply involved in any physical releases. But you can just like put your stuff on Steam, right? Yeah, I can't answer this question. Sorry about that. I wish Blizzard would go independent again. The damage is done, man. It's dead. Just let it go. I'm sorry. They're gonna have like a real big pushback now to try and be the good guys again. There's gonna be some major steps that are gonna be taken, but it's all bullshit. I'm sorry to be like, cynical Joe, man, but yeah, they're gonna try. They're not gonna go the way of Bethesda. Like, we're not gonna have like Bethesda 2.0 here with Blizzard, but yeah, like. Stay the course. Stay the course. Thank you, Exert Haddock. Right? Mm-hmm. Let's move over to Discord. And before that, though, thank you to Nate O'Dub, or Natty O'Dub, for the 2-month resub. Sup. Thank you for 2 months in the Robodub sub club. Natty O'Dub. Thank you, Kimichi, for the 25-month resub. Damn. Happy Friday, Joe. Happy Friday to you too, Kimichi. Thank you so much for 25 months. It's halfway to 50, man. That's a lot of subs. That's a lot of months. Thank you very, very much. 20 months, 25 months. I can't talk. And what do you think? Waifu Warehouse? Mm-hmm. I haven't said the Waifu Warehouse for a while. What's better, the Waifu Warehouse or the Waifu Wagon? Do you want all your waifus in a warehouse, or do you want all your waifus on a wagon?
I prefer warehouse.
Warehouse?
Then you can go in and select which waifu. Because what if your waifu needs change?
Hope it's
you want them available, right?
Hope it's a cushioned warehouse, right? Thank you, Pet Shame or Pet Hame. Not sure. I think it's Pet Shame. Is it Pet Smart or Pet Smart?
I never know. Same with Egg Smart or Egg Smart.
Thank you very much for the 14-month resub. Dang, 14 months. Yep. Thank you very much. 14 months in the Cringe Chronicles, the Cringe Connoisseurs. Thank you very much. Anyway, next person on the Discord list is, I said the Discord again, Woskis, I believe, right? We answered these questions last time,
yeah,
right?
About reading? That one.
Yeah. All right, so go for it.
I've watched your streams for 10 months and I really like them. I find them funny and very insightful, and there's probably no other way I get to experience Danganronpa other than your streams. Question 1. On your 11th of October Q&A, you mentioned that you would probably give D&D a try if you had someone who could explain how the game works. If you want, I can explain the rules of the game, how to play it, and answer any general questions about the game that you have. Would you be interested in this, or would you rather learn as you're playing a game?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, I can answer like practically right now, no, because I don't have time, unfortunately. It would have to be later on. I think I would prefer to have like a mix of both. Someone who is there to guide me and really knows what they're doing, while I'm also able to play and experience it practically. I'm a very hands-on learner. I don't really learn all that well from theory. I do much better when I can experience something as I'm learning it. That's why I really enjoy the active tutorials that are on Khan Academy, that you can see things. I'm thinking specifically of their coding tutorials, that you can like mess around with something while you're learning. I'm I can learn from theory. Like I am capable of it. It's not that it's like a something that I will shy away from completely, but I follow along much better if I can try something out. Even in games, maybe it's because of games I am that way. Like even in a game that I'm really comfortable with, like if like in a Souls like when I played Bloodborne for the first time, and like having played like Dark Souls 1 and 2, and it threw all this shit at me in those messages in the dream. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? This is terrible. Like I can't try out any of this right now. Like there are no enemies. There's no chance to try all this out. So I'm very much more of a practical, hands-on learner. So yeah, it would go much better if we could have a mix of both. I don't know if I'd like D&D. Like I like stories. I like writing. I like making my own stories. I like fantasy. I've liked some games that are based on D&D, so it should be a match made in heaven. Like I think most people would even think, okay, you would actually really enjoy being a dungeon master that's in charge of that sort of thing. But like I'm so fussy when it comes to my stories that I feel like I would be way too controlling for it. So I wouldn't enjoy it all that much. So yeah, I'm really not sure. I don't think I would like it, but as a DM. But I think just as a participant, I think I would enjoy it. But I also don't think it's something I would want to try like online. I think I would want to be like in a room with people and smell the Cheetos while I'm there. Like wake up, Mr. Freeman. I think I would enjoy that part of it. I understand a lot of people are nervous before they get a chance to play. Yeah, so it's like the really interesting part of D&D to me is the collaborative storytelling or the story experience, because it's almost kind of like it's a little bit like the streamer audience interaction that you have on streams, right? But yeah, there's someone that's trying to guide the story, and there's other people that are involved in it, and the DM has to like make changes on the fly, and that seems like if it's done really well, it can be really engaging. But I also have a sneaking suspicion that it usually ends up with people just trying to one up each other on like who can have the wackiest answer to the situations you get into. Like. There's a Dungeons and Dragons skit that I found on like Napster when I was like a kid, and it was like Dungeons and Dragons Satan's game, and it was basically like the one guy is always like saying where's the food and where's the drink, where's the Cheetos and where's the Mountain Dew, and then there's another guy that whenever there's a girl in the game, a girl character, it's like I wanna have sex with them, that sort of thing. But that's kids playing it, so I would wonder if it'd be like if it was a bunch of adults that I presume are not weebs. I would be interested in trying that out, yeah. Ah, yes, that guy, yeah.
It's hard for everyone. The most important thing is communicating with the rest of the group and talking to them before, during, and after the session.
Yeah, so it had to be like a mature group, but not too mature, because you still want to have fun with it. But yeah, I would definitely be up for trying, for sure. For sure. Valley Girl.
I haven't heard that song in years.
Is there a specific kind of campaign or like rule set that is the best for learning? Shammy and Mandel are doing a D&D thing. If they are, I haven't heard about it. 5e is pretty dang simple. Honestly, 5th edition is very simplified. D&D was shaming built for new players. Start with 5e. What does Woski's think? Because it's his question.
5th edition D&D is the newest and the best one.
Okay. Mandy was on chat. He was here?
Yeah, just for a minute.
Oh, how's it going, Mandy, if you're still here?
When you were looking at all the
I might
movies.
have a message from Mandy, actually. I was talking to her a bit earlier tonight. We were discussing
Oh, he's here.
the shameful display of Fallout 76. God, I can't wait for E3 next year. It's gonna be glorious. Oh man, it's gonna be so good. Pretty good. Yeah, I think that's all I can say about D&D. I wanted to watch more of. Sorry to just take this on a tangent. I think they're playing D&D. Dan Harmon from that little known show Rick and Morty. He has like the Harmon Quest thing, and there was a clip of that I saw, which was one of the actresses from Community was there, and she was role playing as like a goblin or a gnome or something, and she was she was playing the character in a very, very amusing way, and I was like, oh damn, this actually looks pretty funny, but I couldn't find anything else from it, any other clips from it, but I think that would be like a good thing to get into. That looked entertaining to me. Yeah, if it was that kind of thing, I think I would be like way, even more interested in giving it a try. But right now it's kind of daunting. Can we have fire underwater? No. Makes sense. Just, never know.
If you want, we can talk more about it after the Witcher video is done.
Sure, yeah. I wouldn't be 100% against doing something online. I think I would just prefer to be in person. But yeah, I think maybe trying it online. Like, we played some board games the first time online, so I think it might be able to work out well. Of course, I'd be worried about after saying, I don't want it to be too memey or be that guy. Like, we all know from streams that sometimes I can be the memey and I can be that guy, Like, look at Trash Chan, right? Sometimes I take it a little bit too far. So I have that in me too, I think I'd be more reserved. I'm very different when it comes to interacting in a group. I think that if we had a couple people on chat with me, in a group call while streaming, like they would end up talking like way more than I do, because that's just the kind of person that I am. I'm more reserved. All right, so now we have this fire, which means we can see, but I don't like. I feel like we're gonna drown as we go down here. But let's see how it happens. What was Whiskey's next question?
Do you enjoy licensed music and games less since becoming a streamer and having to refute copyright claims strikes? Do you think there can be a solution for game devs wanting licensed music in their game while making it possible for content creators to stream the games without fear of copyright claims? Do you think that licensed music can still be used to good effect without making content creators worry about copyright strikes, like the old gods of Asgard, also known as Poets of the Fall music in Max Payne 2 Alan Wake Control?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me that much. I guess it should bother me more. It's just I don't oh man, we didn't get through. I don't think that any game dev should ever like think of that when they're making their game. There's this like music track that I really love, and it would be perfect for like the feeling that I want to evoke in this moment right now in this game, but I shouldn't use it because it's copyrighted, and I don't want there to be any problem with it on Twitch, But streaming is becoming such an important part of like marketing your game and everything that it might actually be a strong consideration, Like we can see that in Control, where they seem to take it into some consideration that they put that mute copyright thing that either didn't work or turned itself off after a bit. So I think that it might be something that happens, unfortunately, which I don't like. Even as a streamer, that it affects me. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth compromising your artistic vision just to get a little bit more marketing that. I guess it must be effective though, right? Like, how effective is marketing on Twitch? It's got to be effective because since so many games do it, but I don't know enough about it. So in like a purely selfish way, it would make my job easier, but it wouldn't make my job that much easier. So I guess it's not something I should really be put off by. Like, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I do have to say though, I'm struggling to think of a song that was used all that well. Late Goodbye is a really good, like, because of the Poets of the Fall. Late Goodbye at the end of Max Payne 2 is a good one, but I think that was made specifically for that game, wasn't it? Or maybe I'm wrong. Like, Still Alive, you know, that again made specifically for that. Was Still Alive for Mirror's Edge made specifically for that? I don't know. There are some like iconic songs that are matched to games to me, but apart from trailers, you know, I don't think I can think of one that's used really, really well in a game, except for the original Prey has Lily knows this song, "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult. It plays that in the intro sequence, and that might be the best like already existed use of a song in a game. I really enjoyed that, and I thought it matched really well. So I think that might be it. But then it's just like in the marketing, yeah, like Country Road is good, right? But that isn't present in the game. And then there's a bunch of like most of it's copyright free now, isn't it? With Fallout. Fallout's kind of can of worms. May the Circle Be Unbroken, BioShock Infinite. Yeah, that's a pretty good moment too. Yeah, that's a good one. I also really liked in the trailer the Beast of America song. I thought that was a really good choice, and that's how I discovered that song. Bartholomew is the name of the song. I can't remember who sings it though. From Dark Souls, that's a pretty good one too from the trailer. But yeah, it's more about like in the game itself. Wait, which game used Blue Oyster Cult? The original Prey, not the new one that came out recently. The original Prey used "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult in the opening in a really, really effective way. It was really good. I did a Fallout 3 LP when I was a tiny man, and I got copyright struck for every single song. Did you? Okay, then never mind then. Well, even then, like, who knows? Like, those renditions of it might not be, but I don't know. That's just more of a feeling rather than a specific song. I think the only one that stands out is New Vegas with Big Iron.
Thank you for answering my questions, and now I sleep at 6 a.m.
You're welcome, Whiskey. I hope that was enough for you. I try to waffle on as best I can. Sleep well.
Good morning.
Big Iron, Big Iron. Is there a radio in the Outer Worlds? Okay, so we're immune to fire. Does that mean that if we get poison on us, can we burn it off without taking damage? Or is the poison immune to fire too? Let us find out. Anyway, who's the next person on Twitch subs or in the list?
Ralph Clugs, who is now Feral Hog's Pun Master.
Feral Hogs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's different.
When are you going to rig up a 3D stream avatar of Trash Chan? It's the next logical step in the Weeb Joseph journey. Also, real question. Did you watch the No Clip documentary on Fallout 76? And if so, what are your thoughts?
I didn't, sorry, so I can't really tell you or give you much of it. I do want to say that, you know, the next logical progression reminds me of that skit from, I don't think I've even seen this movie, I've just seen that clip where the Walk Hard movie where, fuck, who's in it? Hold on, let me see. Walk Hard. The Dewey Cox story with John C. Reilly, and Tim Meadows is there, and John C. Reilly keeps getting progressively into harder and harder drugs as it goes on, and there's a part where like he goes from like doing cocaine to something else. He's like, it's the next logical progression and the step for you. That's what it made me think of. So I'm not sure if you're quoting it, but if not, thank you regardless. So yeah, I haven't watched much NoClip, despite being like really interested in that kind of thing, because I didn't really have time when NoClip was still like just first making the rounds. But the Fallout 76, like, I don't. In the past, I didn't really like talking about other YouTubers or whatever, but like, fuck it, like let's just do it. I'd rather be honest than like continually hold stuff back all the time. The Fallout 76 thing really rubbed me the wrong way. It felt like an ad, because it is an ad. You know, like it's Bethesda using this, you know, upcoming YouTuber who had like a massive audience from where he started. You know, from moving over to where he was before, over to YouTube. It really rubbed me the wrong way, and I was just like, okay, maybe this channel isn't what I think it is, or, you know, like, I'm willing to give them another chance later on, you know, like, and you know, look the other way on it. You know, they were just getting started, and it was like probably like a big like win for them to get that kind of thing, that kind of like near exclusive reveal that matches the reveal of the game itself. But that really turned me off, and I was like, okay, you know, I'm very suspicious when it comes to stuff like marketing and stuff, because it makes me think that anything can be an ad, you know, like once you go that way, you know, like, so I was put off by it greatly, and we died. So I didn't watch it. It might be interesting to know. I wonder what Danny thinks of that video, considering the travesty that Fallout 76 has become. I'm not sure. Was it praising 76 or talking about its faults? The video that they're talking about, that NoClip did, and again, this is just me assuming for what it is, was a tied to the big reveal countdown that they did when they first announced the game, and was basically showing like, hey, this game's coming out, and it was more of like a dev kind of thing before the game was even released, and it felt like an ad from like, I skimmed through a little bit, but I didn't watch the whole thing, you know, like, because I was that put off by it, and I also didn't really want to know all that much about it, because I wanted to go in not completely blind, but fairly blind. You know, that's how I go into games. So yeah, sorry if you're a big NoClip fan and I'm really off the mark there, but that's how it looks to me, and ever since then that content has been a little tainted for me, and I've been hesitant to get really into it, and yeah, I'd like to give them another chance and look at some other stuff, but yeah, maybe not the best policy. I'm kind of weird when it comes to advertising and stuff. I had it in my head when I was a teenager. I really enjoyed a comedian called Bill Hicks, and he has a tirade that he goes on. One of his many like preachy moments, and listening to him again now as an adult, he's like way too preachy. But this is one of the things that he said that really stuck in for me, is like, you know, once you take an advertising deal, you're kind of like, every single word that you ever say after that is suspect. You've proven that you're able to, that you'll like shill a product for money. You know, once you cross that line, it's like, okay, well, if you've done it once, you might do it again. It's sort of like, you know, if you ever tell a big lie, then how can you ever trust another person after that? And I have like almost a complex about lies. I really, really hate it, because I was lied to so much when I was a kid. So like that's my own kind of like neuroses or neurosis that I tried to get over, and I'm still trying to get over. And I think I've made some pretty good progress about that. It used to be that if anyone ever lied to me, they were done forever. It was like, I'm 100% done. Like, but this is another one that's kind of like that, is the if you like shill a product, it's like, okay, well, what's going to stop you from shilling another product and maybe not even saying it next time? It's like, to me, it's like, you should disclose it, and of course you are legally kind of obligated to disclose it, but at the same time, like, if you do shill a product, it's like there's a price big enough that you would probably go about not doing that anymore. But yeah, that's how I used to view it, and I have made some progress with not thinking so extremely anymore, but that was one of the few that I just couldn't get past it. Sorry. That was a bit rambly. I think I need to collect my thoughts on that a little bit more. Huh. Maybe I need to think about that some more. Need to update my thoughts. Need to go into my my isolation chamber, put on some Tool, and think about advertising. Probably listen to Hooker with a Penis a lot. It's a song by Tool. It's not just a thing that I just said. Should probably clarify that.
Too late, someone clipped it.
That's why the disclosure rules in the US are so important. Yeah, I really like those rules, and for most YouTubers, if it's like a thing that's right at the beginning and it's completely separated from their content, like I'm willing to look the other way and I'm okay with it. But like even then, like when Bunny Hop has recently been doing advertising things at the beginning of his videos lately, I'm like, oh man, really, Bunny Hop, really, like, come on, like I want to be okay with it, and I mostly am, but there's just a little thing in the back of my head that's like, this just doesn't feel right, man. It just doesn't feel right at all. But yeah, I'm definitely willing to look the other way when it's just a little thing at the beginning, you know, like, hey, it's Dollar Shave Club or whatever, you know, like it's fine. Flexen is saying that they spoke about it on a podcast. What did they say? And then we'll move on to the next question. Joni said defragment his hard drive. Yeah, I do. I really do. Yeah. How did you like the new album? I listened to it again finally, and it's growing on me. I really like all the songs, but that's really easy to say when there's only 5 songs. I feel like it's half an album. I feel like there should be another 5 songs, and I don't know where they are. The songs are really long, but they don't feel as long as they are, so it's kind of weird. And you know, I just feel like even though it's the duration of the runtime of those songs all added up is, you know, it's significant, it just kind of feels like it's half an album to me. And yeah, so I'm a little disappointed, you know, after how long it took to come out, that it seems to be light on content when it might not be. But yeah, it's probably going to be my least favorite of the big ones. Lateralis is my favorite Tool album, and then probably Enema, and then 10,000 Days, and then probably this one. But I really like Invincible, I really like Tempest, those are my 2 favorites. I like to listen to Descending a little bit more. I think my least favorite is actually the title track, Fear Inoculum. I really like the growing, like, building that happens in the beginning to the middle of that, but then it just kind of goes nowhere at the end. But yeah, so I like the songs where the music and Maynard's vocals like build and build and build throughout the whole entire track until there's like this gigantic explosion at the end. That's why I really like 10,000 Days Part 2, although that's more in the middle. But I stopped listening after that part, so maybe that's a big flaw of that song actually. But like Rosetta Stoned, kind of like a lot of the songs on Lateralis that like they build to this just like this huge explosion of like the lyrics and the music just hitting this peak. The other artist that does that, like maybe even better, when she's firing all cylinders, Lily and I like her a lot, is Florence and the Machine. There's this huge loud there's like this huge loud conclusion that comes to like this growing like building over the whole duration of the song. And yeah, so there wasn't really much of that in the new Tool album. Perfect Circle has that kind of a bit more, but yeah. I love Florence and the Machine. What do you think of their latest album? I liked it. You liked it too, didn't you?
Better than the one before it, but Ceremonials will always be my favorite, I think. I like almost every song on that one a lot. Flexen's trying to post a link, and there's nobody here to help him, but...
Well, I can't watch it. Do you want to post it for everyone else? I don't know how to permit you.
I don't know if you can do it.
Do I just type permit Flexen? Is that how I do it?
I've never done it.
Permit Flexen. All right, this might ban you. Let's find out. Unrecognized command permit. Nope. What if I do help? Help. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm not I have mod thing turned off. It's an exclamation mark. Permit Flexen. Flexen has been granted permission to post the link for... Oh, there you go. All right. No clip talking about the Fallout 76 documentary. Okay. Can you give a gist of what they say? Or is it too complicated? Like, don't try. If it's too complicated, don't try. I would rather have no answer than an answer that's flawed and makes them out to that they're saying something that they didn't. I don't remember. Okay. The other thing, whatever, in for a penny, in for the pound. The other thing that I really didn't like about NoClip after they launched, and this was a minor thing compared to the Fallout 76 thing, but it might be a major thing for other people, is that Danny went on a video and was like talking about how the success of his channel proved that you don't need to be backed by a big site and a big like advertising conglomerate thing, and you just have to like make the channel and just make the good content and whatever, and there's an audience for it and you can find it. And like, he's technically correct and everything, but it's like, dude, like when you launched that channel, you already had like over 100,000 Twitter followers, maybe it was even more than that. You were a name that was known, you know, you had had videos on GameSpot before. Like, you weren't coming from nothing, my man. Like, you have to like have a caveat that says that, you know, like, you're right, but at the same time, like, it just doesn't sit right. And that was like coming from someone like me who'd already established their audience. It wasn't even like I was still trying to make it. It's like you have to have some awareness about that sort of stuff. And anyway, I'll shut up now before I get in trouble. Purchase cement. Nice, we got cement. What does cement do? Transmute drops of wet cement from nothing. Alright, cool. Let's put it on this one. It ain't easy being cheesy. Hey Mandy, I'm glad you're here to watch me end my career live on Twitch. Invisibility or extra HP, chat, or freeze field, let me know while we switch over to Patreon.
You're gonna have to scroll for me too.
But first, thank you to Ken Wart or something for the new sub of Prime. Ken WRT. What would you say?
Wort.
Wort?
Wort. I'm gonna say Wort.
Ken
It could
Wart.
be something else, but
Thank
I'm
you
gonna
very
say
much.
Wort.
Welcome to Prime Time. Welcome, welcome. I'd even watch you on Mixer if your career on Twitch ended. Mozzarella is the best kind of cheese. That's
You got it correct.
That's a pretty good cheese answer, I think. I prefer like a mix of cheddar and marble. Cheddar and mozzarella and a marble cheese. Anyway, there you go. Next person on Patreon is Irvin.
Hey Joe and Lily. Thanks for responding to my question from the last Q&A. It's okay if you haven't had as many of the gaming experiences that I was specifically asking about. Asymmetric multiplayer in that case. Although I do also...
Thank you for the reminder. Thank you.
I also do hope that you'll try it sometime to broaden your horizons. Smiley face.
There's a bunch of things that I should be doing that to broaden my horizons,
or winky
for sure.
Smiley face.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's hard to tell on this monitor.
Just remember the Lion King, man. There's more to be seen that can never be seen.
It just mainly seemed like the kind of thing I'd like to do with my kids while they're learning how to play video games. Here's my Q&A sessionly questions. Q&A session. If you were to make a list of underappreciated game systems or mechanics, what would you put on that list? I'm especially interested in mechanics that you don't really notice are in place until you play something that is inexplicably missing them for no good reason. However, I guess this could also mean mechanics and concepts that you barely see used to begin with. Examples of games doing this well and or poorly are also appreciated.
Okay, so that's a tough question. Let me read it again so I make sure I understand it. So a list of underappreciated game systems or mechanics, and especially those that you don't really notice while you're appreciating them. Okay, so specifically a mechanic is going to be quite tough, but in terms of systems, I think we can talk more about systems, and of course we can bring it back to The Witcher like we can all the time. So something I've been thinking about a lot is animations, and specifically how combat works, because this is something that games don't do consistently all that well, and I think it can kind of kill a game. And this is something that's probably gonna, I think I've already written about this in the script, so this might end up being like word for word ripped from the video because it's just on my mind and I can't get away from it. So enjoy. So there's a thing in MMOs, so hotkey MMOs. So there's a thing that happens in World of Warcraft. In case you don't know what World of Warcraft is or hotkey MMO is like, I suppose there are some other games that aren't hotkeys, right? That aren't MMOs that will probably have the same sort of structure. Is that when you hit a hotkey, it will cast a spell and you target the enemy separately from that. So you it just automatically does the spell when you hit the spell button against the enemy. Now there might be some spells that have like a range, or they do an area of effect around you, or you have to place it on the ground, or it's in front of you, like a cone, an AoE cone. But for the most part, the hotkey is that you don't have to aim it. It's just, you just target it and you just hit the button, and then the character does all the work for you. And what happened in the Star Wars game, the Star Wars MMO, which I hope they fixed, but I haven't gone back and played it, is that they didn't learn the lesson that World of Warcraft had, which is that they separated the spell effect from the animation. So this is going to be really hard to explain, so it's good practice for me to see if I can get it right. So when you hit the button to cast a spell in World of Warcraft, and it has like a 3-second cast duration, so it takes 3 seconds to cast the spell. If for whatever reason the animation breaks because you took a hit and your character went into a dodge animation, or part of the animation wasn't finished from the run when you hit the button to start the cast animation, it doesn't matter. The spell effect and the result takes precedence, or takes preference over the animation itself. So how this results in that the animations will occasionally look kind of jittery and kind of off, but only sometimes, but the gameplay feels really smooth and really responsive, that you never have to be like fighting against these animations that you might not even understand why they're not working properly. So what Star Wars The Old Republic MMO did was like the opposite. The animation took preference over the effect. So you might be a stormtrooper kind of character, and you have a spell where you can, like, essentially a spell where you fire your gun for a volley, and then after that goes off you can throw a grenade. So even if the spell duration, the channel of firing the volley is done, the animation would have like maybe like if that volley duration is 3 seconds, the animation might be 3.2 seconds. And then you want to throw a grenade. Well, even though the spell is done and the progress bar, like the cast bar, is off of your screen, the game still wouldn't let you throw the grenade until the animation was done playing. So it has like almost this, well, not almost, it is, it's like an invisible extension on the cast duration that might not always be there, depending on if the animation got out of sync or not. So this is an example of when the effect should definitely not be tied to the animation. It should be something completely different, because the game feels more important than the game looking correct, because it's hockey combat. It doesn't have to have this like mess around with like hitboxes and hit detection and all this other stuff. The game does that for you. Well, it's the opposite is true in action games that like have combat that are meant to be like Devil May Cry and Dark Souls and the like. You want the animation to take preference over the effect, because if the effect is separate from the animation, then you get these weird kind of things like we saw in Code Vein, where that flamethrower attack, the animation doesn't match up to the effect, and the effect takes precedence over the animation, and you get things that look like wonky hitboxes when they're not even wonky hitboxes. The effect, the animation is just like fucking broken when it comes to giving you visual information, like it's just wrong. And that's what the difference is between games like, for the most part, like Dark Souls and the like, and God of War, with Witcher 2 and 3, and even Witcher 1. But Witcher 1 kind of has almost kind of like hotbar combat, whereas Witcher 2 and Witcher 3 don't. So that's something I really appreciate, and I don't think you you really realize it when you're playing games until you go to another game that has something different. I know that I didn't really mention that at all, maybe not even one bit in the God of War video, whereas I should have, because God of War does it probably better than any other game while also having really flashy moves. Like the combat animations in God of War are really fucking good, whereas the effects that are tied to them are also like it's pristine. There weren't really that many hitbox problems that I remembered in God of War. There were some, of course, but like they did a really good job matching those visuals to what the effect should be, and the visuals taking preference over it. Witcher does not do this. Witcher is one of the worst games I've ever played for it. Unfortunately, Witcher 3, Witcher 2, yeah, as well. And I don't go on and on and on and on about it in the video, but it is a big, major part of why I think the combat in Witcher 3 is really disappointing in a lot of ways, even though it's still quite good for open world RPG games, unfortunately. Like, the bar is set pretty fucking low. Sorry, I kind of went on a wild tangent journey there with that, and now I can't remember what the next one I was gonna say. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So yeah, it's very important for an action game to do that. If the animation doesn't take preference, then you're going to get into a lot of frustrating situations where the visual information, the feedback you're being given by the game is wrong, and there's no real way to account for it, and you get into these really awkward situations. But it's fine in some games. Like I said, like some RPGs can pull it off. Like they don't have to be, like they're close to hotkey combat. But when a game is trying to be very much more like a grounded action game, they have to get that right. Yeah, the other one I want to talk about is movement systems. So this game is an example of that. We just kind of got lucky here. The movement system in this game is quite simple, but you have a lot of like control. I wish you could move a little faster with like an additional kind of like maybe like a way to use your flight juice. See in the top right there, the orange bar, to move a little faster to left or the right, or while you're airborne. But any game that has something that's more, just has more than just the standard hold forward to move sort of thing, is going to get extra points from me, because I really enjoy having movement systems that have ways for you to move faster, little tricks for you to use. One of my favorite mechanics in any game is something like a hook shot. So the grapple hook, but it has to be used in something that like Uncharted uses it, and not like how Zelda uses it. Zelda is very like clunky with its hook shot kind of use, whereas Uncharted is very smooth. It doesn't interrupt how the game works, or how movement is being done. A really good example of being used well in a game that probably most people haven't played was the PlayStation 2 007 game that I can't remember what it was called, so even I can't tell you it. PlayStation 2 007. I typed in PlayStation 7, so that's not it. I think it might have been Nightfire. That's the first one that came up. So there was in multiplayer, there was a hook shot that you can use, and it was had quite a long range on it, and you ended up being in multiplayer, if you had this enabled, it ended me and my friends would play it with sniper rifles turned on, so just like sniper rifles only with the hook shot, and it became like this kind of like Spider-Man with a sniper rifle kind of gameplay, where you would just be like zipping all over the place with the hook shot, like, and trying to aim up shots at each other, and they might like zip around with the hook shot right before you can line up the shot. And we got to the point where we were moving exclusively with the hook shot kind of thing. So I really like movement systems that have like little things like that, like anything that you can micro, to use the really technical term, when it comes to microing your movement. Anything that like like Celeste's like little movement options, like that even something that I struggled to learn when I was playing the game on stream. The dashing into the ground and then jumping, the dashing up into a wall and kicking off of it, little things like that. I really love things like that embrace creativity and little tricks you can learn to make yourself move faster, you know. But it has to have something more to it than like Ocarina of Time, like you can roll around to move faster. Like that's kind of bad. Whereas holding down Z targeting and being able to like jump to the side, that's a little more creative and a little more fun for me. But just having to just spam a button, like no thank you. So that's what I like. I think that a lot of games should embrace that kind of part of video games to make the movement as interesting as they can be. And the last one I can talk about is rewarding exploration. So I think too many games don't do this, and I think the mistake they make is that they think that the rewards that they have in place are way better than they actually are. You know, finding new gear, you know, isn't really all that fun when your gear doesn't really matter all that much and doesn't have very interesting it doesn't have very interesting kind of uses, you know. Like if your gear is just a pile of stats that just makes the numbers go up or increases your crit or whatever, that's not really exciting. Like I think the rewards for exploration should be like really fun and really tangible. It should be like a new tool or a new option to get, or you're increasing something that is more like fundamental, like your movement speed or your jump height, or like in the most boring kind of like your life or your stamina, that sort of thing, if we're thinking about Breath of the Wild. So I really enjoy when exploration is rewarded heavily with that kind of thing. And I think that's all I can say now. If I had like hours to think on this, I probably could think of a ton more. So this is like the problem with the format here, that we're live streaming it instead of doing the written one that we used to do. So if you forgive me, I think that's all I can say for this one. But let me read it again one more time to see. This is all new mechanics and concepts you barely see used to begin with. Examples of games doing this well and or poorly are also appreciated. Yeah. So I think the best game that does the exploration reward system, like the gold standard for me, is the original Deus Ex. I think that has so many rewards for exploring. You know, experience points are really valuable in that game. You get new weapons from exploring. You get new augment canisters. You get augment upgrade canisters. That's just like the best. You know, even better than the recent Prey, which also did it fairly well too, I think. But that's the best one. For open world exploring, I think it still has to be Breath of the Wild, which means it goes to show you that there's still like we could do it way better. Yeah, for a game doing it poorly, pretty much any Ubisoft open world game, I think. Although that's not fair because I haven't played the most recent ones that they've done. Bethesda games can be hit or miss with it. Skyrim, I think, does it quite well for exploration, and movement we already went into, I think. So I think we'll stop it there. Apologies for the Witcher rant. Disco Elysium's exploring is real good. What game's that? I've never heard of that game before. Did they have another question?
As I get older, I'm appreciating more and more games that are brief and don't overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
I especially noticed this with the recent Link's Awakening remake. The game only took 10 to 15 hours to finish, but it was really enjoyable the whole time and didn't overstay its welcome. Thinking on this, do you have any favorite games that can be casually completed in 15 hours or less without being a speedrunner?
Okay, that's a tough question because those types of games that I've played, you know, like Dark Souls is in that category for me now, but that's not going to be there for someone who's new to Dark Souls. Like all of those games, you know, I got Sekiro down really, really fast. I think I was beating Sekiro in like 3-4 hours, something like that, you know, which is like slow compared to speedrunners, but those games where you can just run past most enemies, you know, that's the state you get them in after you've played them a lot, you know. That's kind of where I was with it. So I don't know, let me think. A lot of the Mario games you can finish really really fast without having to be a speedrunner. But then again, it's the that's getting into the point where you've already had to play them, and I don't think that's the question that you're asking. New games that are like that are really really good. Undertale, or like games that you are playing for the first time, rather, not new games. The Uncharted's don't wear out their welcome, especially 2 and 3. One definitely does. One for sure wears out its welcome. For ones that we've done videos on, what remains of Edith Finch is really short and it's good experience. But you're talking about I think you're talking about more gameplay games that are around 15 hours. Most of the ones I'm thinking about, you already know about, like Portal and stuff, like Portal 1 and Portal 2. Doom, the new Doom, I think you can beat in about 15 hours on your first time through. Pray you can't. Most horror games are short. In fact, I can't think of a single long horror game. So I think that would be, if there's any horror game that interests you, I think that would be it. Resident Evil games are pretty short. The Devil May Cries are pretty short on your first time through. Am I wrong there, chat? I think they are, aren't they? There are multiple. That's kind of like Resident Evil, though. There are multiple playthroughs that you can do, but I think those are pretty short even on your first time through. They're kind of just blasts. Metal Gear Solid 1 is short, isn't it? Metal Gear Solid 2 is a little short too. Metal Gear Solid 3 I think is longer. Oh man, we're getting rumbled. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 1 I think for sure. The other ones I'm not so sure about, sorry. Let me see. On Steam. Crosscode, yeah, 74 hours. Celeste, absolutely not. Baba is you, absolutely not. Plague Tale is one of those games, yeah. That's about perfect actually, if that interests you at all.
Hey, Boats, good to see you.
Fury. Soma, but again, horror games, yeah. I've heard Bastion and Transistor about that long, but I haven't played them, so I can't confirm, and everyone seems to love those games. Or most people do, at least. Ooh, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time. The Prince of Persia games are around that length, and those are pretty focused. Ori's about that long. I think Ori might be a little too long actually, but I think that might be about right. Yeah, the Prince of Persia games are quite good. I would recommend those. Sands of Time is decent. I think even Warrior Within's pretty good. I think the first one's my favorite, but I thought the combat in Warrior Within was actually pretty good. The tone of that game is all over the place, but I enjoyed the combat in that. I wonder if I would still enjoy that. I think Max Payne 1 and 2 are around that length that you're going for, if you haven't played those. Half-Life 1 and 2, yep, that's about right, but you've probably played those already. Here's my big confession. I haven't played any of the Fear games, so I can't talk about those. I think Evil Within, but again, horror games. I think that's about it. Too much time in Moncton. Depending on your proficiency, I would say that most Nintendo games that aren't Zelda, you could also get through. In some extent, even if they are Zelda, as your question said, but most platformers by Nintendo you could get through in that amount of time, and you would have a really good, pure, focused experience, especially if you're not doing all the side content. I would be curious how long it takes people to beat Super Mario World on their first time through. How long did it take you, Lily? You recently did that, didn't you?
It was a few years ago. It was at the apartment. I don't remember.
I think that's it. That's all I can say. As a kid, I had Super Mario World for years. I never beat it. You should go back and try it, Tosanjay. It's one of the greatest games ever. Giant magic missile. Damage field. Firecrackers. Alright, let's get giant magic missile. That sounds like fun.
Hope Kate, Leo, and Finn are all also doing well and looking forward to the Witcher videos. I might pick up Witcher 3 on Switch, so I hope that it'll be better than trying to play it on a Mac through a virtual machine.
Okay, thank you very much, Irvin. I hope that you enjoy the Witcher videos and that they're worth the wait. I'm starting to worry that nothing could possibly be worth this wait, but hopefully they're still at least a little enjoyable. But yeah, thank you. Oh man. Anyway, thank you, Ralph Cox Bits. There's cheese. That's good, and there's cheese that's greater. Ah, that's pretty good. I think it's one of your better ones. Let's get more love. Creatures in the world are more friendly towards each other. Oh, that's terrible. We don't want that. We don't want that at all. Okay, so let's go one more on Patreon, and then we'll go back over to the Twitch subs.
Okay.
But first, someone in chat says, Joe, have you seen the world map of this game? No, I haven't, and I don't want to either. I would like to stay in the dark.
So, some jabroni.
How's it going, some jabroni?
Hi, Joe and Lily. Glad to hear that you can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel in regards to the Witcher project, even if you still think you have 1,000 hours left of work.
Yep.
The amount of time you've put into this project is astounding, and I wanted to commend you on your hard work. I'm very excited to see what you have done.
Me too. Let's get it done.
Get through it. Just get through it. Now on to the questions. In one of your previous Q&As, you mentioned how you think video games have more similarities with books rather than movies.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
I've thought a lot about this statement, and yet I still cannot understand the reasoning behind it. Would you care to explain why you think this in some detail?
Sure. Is that the whole question?
That's the first question.
Okay, that's the first question. Okay, so...
Yeah, the second one looks different.
Okay, so it's not a perfect comparison, you know? Like, it seems really obvious that video games have a lot more in common with the visual medium than any other, and that makes perfect sense because it's also true, you know? Like, I'm not saying that it's they have more in common with books, period. It's just that I think they have a lot of similarities that people don't really appreciate and really don't think about, because it's just the comparison to like games being cinematic and there being like this focus on the visual part of them is just so overbearing. So it's mostly about pacing and about the characters and the type of stories that you can tell in a book compared to a game. So movies are usually no more than 2 hours long. Of course, there are exceptions. You know, you could probably think of quite a few, but in general, the runtime of a movie is considered to be anywhere between 90 to 120 minutes. I think if you are above that, you better have a really good reason, or you're Quentin Tarantino or whatever. Like it's pretty rare. I think we can all agree that a movie gets over that length. But even if it is over that length, even if it's 3 hours, even if it's 4 hours, that's still very short compared to most books, and it's still very short compared to most games. So this is the easiest comparison to make, is that the amount of time that you spend with characters in a game compared to movies is a lot closer to book length. So you're going to be spending more scenes, more dialogue. You're going to be seeing these characters interact way more than you would in a movie. And in the case of some games, not all of them, but some, you're going to be in that character's head for a lot longer, and the comparison is a lot closer to that of a book character than a movie character, the way I see it. So you are more involved and along for the ride, hinged to this character way more than you are with the main character in a movie. But having said that, there's also that difference too. Movies typically, especially the ones that I've seen lately, have multiple scenes and they switch over to multiple characters, and it's pretty rare that a movie is just about one single character and their single perspective. You know what I mean? And that's fairly rare in books too, but for the most part, in most books, I think you're spending most of your time with one main character and you're in their head. There are, of course, many exceptions. There's a lot of exceptions to everything, but the same thing can be said for games too. So in games, you will have different scenes with different characters, and you will see different characters from different perspectives. But for the most part, for most of the duration, you are with your one character from their perspective, doing that one kind of thing. The same kind of outlook, and that's more similar to what you see in a book rather than a movie that's usually switching between more characters more often and seeing different perspectives. I don't think I explained that all that well, so let me say it again. So movies tend to have more perspectives in them than most movies tend to have more perspectives in them than most books and most video games. I think that video games are the most narrow out of all three of them, actually. Again, you're going to find exceptions. There's going to be books that are just from one character the whole way through. There's going to be some movies that are just one character the whole way through. There are going to be some movies that are just one shot the whole way through. But for the most part, your video games are usually you're tethered to one character for the vast majority of the duration, and that's closer to books, I think, than into movies. So you get really into a character's head more than you would otherwise in a movie. At least I think so. The other thing is that you get to. This may seem like a minor thing, but I do think it's an important distinction or important difference between movies and books. Is that in games you get to pause whenever you want, and I don't necessarily mean, hey, the game's paused, although that too. In games you can take a moment. Like right now my character is just kind of like, okay, I'm catching my breath. Like, okay, let's just take a moment. And that doesn't happen willfully in movies. It's very rare that you're going to pause a movie, to take a moment. I'm sure there's some people that might do it, especially if they're watching things on their computer, or if they're just like living with the remote on them. But I think most people just like let it run, like especially with TV shows. I think the most often time that I will pause a movie or a TV show is because I'm like, oh, who's that actor? I know that guy. And then you go to IMDb and you look up that character and you're like, oh yeah, it is that character. And then you see that they're only in the show for another 3 episodes and you're like, oh fuck. Anyway, so but like you don't really, at least I don't think most people do, or at least I don't, that you're going to be pausing a lot to take a moment while you're watching a TV show or a movie. Whereas in a book you can just stop reading. Reading is active. Movies are passive. They're like music. Like movies and watching movies and listening to music and watching TV is a passive experience. And that's not to say passive is bad. Whereas reading a book is an active experience, and playing a game is an active experience when it's not in a movie sequence. But then it's not a game anymore; it's a movie. So you can stop being an active experience. You can take a moment and you can pause and you can just stop for a second. Of course, there are times like this where the game won't let you. So it's not a perfect comparison, but I think it's important. It was really something it really stuck out to me in Edith Finch. When I got to the beach part in Edith Finch and I was looking out at the water, and it just really struck me that it was kind of like, it was like I was reading a book and I just got into like a really strong paragraph, and instead of reading on, I had to take a minute to just digest what I had read. I need a minute here. And that was when I started to realize, hey, you know what, games actually have quite a lot in common with books, and I haven't really thought about that. And then I started exploring that line of thought, and I was like, hey, that it actually works in multiple ways here. So that's how I feel about that. And I know it is kind of weird and it doesn't really fit all that well sometimes, especially when you first think of it. But the more that I've explored that idea, the more I feel strongly about it. The more I feel like, yeah, this is interesting, and I think it's valid. So I hope it makes more sense now. I think I would like to write something on that one day, or maybe a video, but maybe a written article if I start doing those again. I think I would like to like put a formal argument forward for that. But yeah, as you can see, that's all I have at the moment. Hope it makes sense. there's also more reading in games than there is in movies. You know, when a movie becomes like makes you read, I think most people are like, what the fuck, you know, unless they're committed to subs instead of dubs. You know, like when a movie is making you read something, you're like, what? But whereas in a game, it's like, yeah, there are more sections where you're going to be reading something. But that gets into genres and stuff, and I think some people might argue that games that make you read a lot aren't really games. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. Thank you for that question. I enjoyed that question.
With the new Breath of the Wild coming, what direction do you think the game should take? Should it mix things up like how Majora's Mask did to Ocarina of Time, or should it just refine what the game is now? Maybe adding more dungeons and areas to explore in the open world and refining the combat. Thank you for your hard work. I love listening to the Q&As when I drive to school and to work. Wishing you, Lily, and the kids the best. Have a good rest of your stream.
Thanks, Bunny. I hope that this Q&A can satisfy that for you. I really need to get them up on YouTube, but it's quite a production to get that done at the moment, especially with chat being added to it. But not just because chat's being added to it; it's also because of I want to put the questions up on the screen when people are asking them, so people know where to jump ahead to, and that's like a day of work, like at least I think maybe even a little bit more than that. Yeah. So anyway, so. This is a hard question. So I would be happy with either. I would be happy with them taking it into a different direction because I really love Majora's Mask. It's my favorite Zelda. However, I haven't played Majora's Mask in a long time. I have more recently played Ocarina of Time, but not that much more recently. I played A Link to the Past a little bit more recently as well. I'd like to play Link's Awakening, the remake, because I really enjoyed Link's Awakening when I was a kid. But yeah, I'm always hesitant to say like my Zelda list because I haven't replayed these games in a while, and you know, maybe I hate Majora's Mask now. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt it, but it's possible. If we're like guaranteed, you know, like not monkey's paw style, but if we're guaranteed like a good guarantee, like a good genie, you know, if one exists, that it's going to be like a good kind of mix up like Majora's Mask ended up being, then I think I would prefer that because Majora's Mask is such a unique game. I would love to make a game one day that has that kind of time limit system that has everyone on a schedule. I don't think that there's been a game that has ever done that again to the extent that Majora's Mask did. That's how ahead of its time it was, you know? It's still ahead of its time. I'm shocked that no one has ever tried to do it. And let's be fair, it was kind of janky and it was kind of, you know, like... It felt like the N64 was just crying as it had to keep track of all this stuff. You know, it needed the memory expansion too. I should probably explain how that worked actually. So Majora's Mask had this 3-day cycle that every NPC had a schedule that they followed, and as you follow on the schedule, you know, you can learn it. And I think there was even a book or something. Maybe that was only in the 3DS remake, which I haven't played. It updates where everyone is at the different schedules, so you can learn where they are, and you can figure out what they want, what they need, and how you can mess with their schedule and change things up every single time loop because it's like Groundhog Day. So it's really interesting to go through that and have schedules on NPCs that you can change and that actually matter, unlike the NPC schedules in something like Fallout or Skyrim or anything. Now, please don't take that as like me shitting on Fallout or Skyrim. It's like it's good that they have schedules, you know, like it's not that kind of game. It's not trying to go for this time loop gameplay, but it's really interesting to see that in Majora's Mask, you know, like it's quite rewarding to learn the NPC schedules and figure out how you can change them, and you feel like you're really having like a tangible like like you are actually changing something when you do it. It's really interesting. At least that's how I remember it. Again, I need to replay it to see. Maybe it's nowhere near as good as I remember it being. So it's really interesting. And I don't think any other game has ever done that. I remember seeing an indie game that seemed to be hinting at it, and I think maybe Dead Rising does something similar in some way on a different playthrough. I'm not sure. I haven't played Dead Rising. Maybe we should try that out one time. Like maybe it does that. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. However, I think that's like going to be really hard for Nintendo to pull off, especially with the way that I know I'm in the minority here, but I kind of feel like their game design is really lacking lately, even with Breath of the Wild. But I think that maybe that might be a difficult thing for them to pull off properly. So I think I would rather go for the safer one of just getting a shit ton of refinement, that they're just going to make Breath of the Wild but better. Let's have some actual dungeons. Let's have a lot more content. Let's have more enemy types. Let's have some really creative more creative landmarks to get through. That sort of thing. I think I would go with the safe option instead of the risky one that potentially has the bigger payoff. But yeah, I'm really excited for Breath of the Wild 2. I keep forgetting that it exists because I think it's probably going to end up being on the next console instead of being on the Switch. I hope that it's only a year off and they are actually trying to reuse a lot of assets and get it out fast. Like they're just going to add on to the same kind of the same world. Like I hope that's the case. But I don't know. Like I feel like that game and the new Metroid Prime game are going to be on like the next Switch, or there's going to be a Switch 2 that you can upgrade to or something. That's how I feel. That's what I think is going to happen with those games. So like I want to be excited, but at the same time it's like they could be 5 years away still, right? What does chat think? Let's open up this up to chat. Would you prefer, assuming that enough of you have played Breath of the Wild, I assume most of you have, would you prefer something that they take a risk like Majora's Mask, or do you with Breath of the Wild 2, or that they just make a really refined version of Breath of the Wild again? Game Maker's Toolkit did a recent video on Clockwork games like Majora's Mask. There are a couple games with that gimmick. I've heard something like the Sexy Brutale or Brutale is like that, but I haven't played it. And that's like a murder mystery. That seems really interesting. I should play that at some point. Personally, I would prefer Risk. I did prefer Risk. Make it more like Dark Souls. Better Breath of the Wild, more dungeons. It seems pretty split, actually. What do you think, Lily?
I haven't played any of them.
You might like that game, actually. You should try it. You should try...
It looked cute when you were playing it, but I haven't seen the other ones, and I haven't played them, so I just saw what you did, right?
Maybe I should get you Link's Awakening, and you can play that with Finn on the Switch and see if you like it, because you said that because Stardew is kind of like a Zelda game, and maybe you would enjoy that, and then you can try some of the other ones.
Maybe.
I hear Link's Awakening doesn't run all that well though, but that shouldn't bother you too much. That was supposed to sound a lot less condescending than it came out. I'm sorry. I know you don't mind, but still, I feel like I have to apologize. Hoping for Zelda as a playable character seems pretty likely going off the trailer. That would be fun, but I don't really care. Like if Zelda was the only playable character, I wouldn't really care either. Like I have no emotional attachment to playing as Link in those types of games. And I would get no greater joy out of playing as Zelda. Like maybe it would be like interesting, so it'd be like, hey, this is kind of fun. But yeah, it's it's not a race I have a horse in,
It's on my list actually, games to play, just in general, but I don't know which one. So that one might work. Just to get a feel for it.
I think you'd enjoy it, yeah. Maybe I should get it on the Switch, and you and Finn can try it out. Maybe he'd like that.
I don't know. Anything to get him off the whole slime house thing.
Yeah. Repelling cape. Bouncing spells. Electricity. Electricity is really dangerous, right? So obviously we're going for that one. I assume we're now immune to electricity too, right? Like we gotta be, right? You're immune to electric damage, but metal and liquids around you electrify constantly. Look out. Okay, we must be. It must be. And that's gonna blow up now because we... Yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how it works. Okay. I think that's all I can answer on that one. I hope that's okay. Thank you for the interesting questions. Some jabroni. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Someone in chat is asking, are you enjoying this game? I'm interested by the concept. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not really paying that much attention to it. I'm just kind of mindlessly kind of going through it while I'm answering the questions. So I'm not really all that focused on it. So I think I'm dying a lot more than I would be otherwise, but maybe not. It seems to be has a massive learning curve, which isn't a bad thing. It's just like, yeah, it's quite difficult to break into. I think I feel like I barely understand it. But that can be some of the most rewarding game experiences you can get. It feels like it's a game that is too hard until the day it's not anymore. And then after that, it's too easy forever. Does that make sense? I hope so. I wish I could take the spell, like, off the wands and take it with me. Maybe I can, I just don't know how to do that. Anyway, let's go back over to Discord. I think we're going to be going for another 45 minutes or so, right? Because we got an interruption. Yeah. I think it's like 45 minutes or so, and then we're going to be done.
I don't think I can go any longer than that tonight. I'm tired.
Maybe it'll just be a couple more answers then. We'll see how it goes. But we're seeming to be making decent progress right now. Anyway, next question is on Discord, and it's from Alice6.
Hey Joe, a few quick questions. Have you heard of Deponia series? It's a point-and-click adventure games that are pretty funny and absurd. Also, how do you feel about that genre in general?
I have heard of that, but I've never played it, and I don't know much about it, but it does ring a bell. Yeah, I've seen this before. I don't know what it's about at all. Oh, there are boobs in this one. Look at the boobs. Huh. Is it Triss? Not sure. So, not my favorite genre. I don't think I've ever finished that kind of game by myself. You know, I think like the most recent one and the only one I can remember right now is I Have No Mouth But I Must Scream, which I didn't really like. As you know, if you watch that stream, you'll know it. I feel like they have most of them have the same kind of problem of the answers being just complete guesswork, and you have to just like smash, you know, potential options together in order to make progress. So I'm not the biggest fan of them. However, there is something kind of charming or maybe romantic about them that I can't deny. There is an appeal to it. I should really play Monkey Island. I've played some of it before, but I didn't finish it. There was one I finished. When I was a kid, I finished a game that's like that called Goblins, and it was on the Atari STE, and it was really well animated. It was really cool. It probably looks like shit now, but yeah, it was really well animated back then, and I thought that was decent. It had really creative environments, and it kind of embraced the wacky bullshit of it, you know, like it was very surreal in its environments and everything, so it kind of almost made sense. I'm not sure if anyone here has heard of Goblins. Yeah, but I think there's like Goblins 1, 2, and 3, and I think I played Goblins 2 the most. I enjoyed playing that game, but like I was a kid, so I had a lot of spare time just throw myself at these games and trying to figure them out. So Electricity Immunity we already have, so that seems like this is a good one to double up, but if you're going to be able to use it. Let's get Low Gravity. I'm regretting my choice. I'm regretting my choice so hard. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not a big fan, unfortunately. So sorry if it's something that you really enjoy, but yeah, I don't think they're bad. It's just not really for me. There are some that always look kind of interesting. I think Longest Journey is one of those ones, right? And then there was what were they called? They were on the PlayStation. Was it Broken Sword? I played a demo for Broken Sword, and that seemed interesting. Again, usually those games look really good, you know, like there's something very visually appealing about them that I like, that I want to try. But then the gameplay just isn't there for me anymore. But when I was younger, that was different. Someone in chat is suggesting Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth as a great point and click game. I think there probably are some that I would take too, and they have a decent decent puzzles and the like. But that's where it gets to me. I wonder if it's a kind of game that might be better played with a guide or rules where if you don't figure something out within the first like 5 minutes or so, then you're allowed to look it up. I wonder if that's one of the rare ones where maybe cheating is okay. What do you think about that, chat? Broken Sword was super fun, but also super tedious times. Yeah, I think that is the one that is like. There was one where the guy was in Paris. I think that's the one that I saw. That was back when PlayStation had a bunch of demo discs. Those were so fun. I had so much fun with demo discs when I was a kid or teenager. Let me make sure it does exist. Broken Sword. Yep, this is it. Broken Sword. Yeah, absolutely it. Instantly. Of course, there's the best one ever, Mystery of the Druids. I actually would like to play that unironically. I think it's hilarious. I think it's like that on purpose. I really do. I think it's funny and it's meant to be funny, which means it's great. I can't imagine a world where it's not on purpose. Maybe I just expect too much. Alice6 had another question, right?
Mm-hmm. A question about writing a novel. Did you edit your draft after a certain amount of words, some landmark finishing a chapter, after finishing the whole thing, a mix of these, or in some other way I haven't thought of?
This is one that you can answer too. Are you awake enough to do that, or are you kind of fading a bit?
I'm fading, but I write in little bursts, right? So every time I get away from it and then I come back to it, I go back and at least sometimes I start from the beginning and I read the whole thing. Other times I'll go like a few scenes back and I'll kind of refresh myself. So because I'm constantly doing that, I edit a few times by the time I'm actually done. So, and then we edit at the end as well, right? Mm-hmm. So we read it and then we edit. So, yeah. Not a certain amount of words. I guess more finishing a chapter and finishing the whole thing. And when I write a scene and then I finish that scene and then I move on to the next scene, if I don't do it on the same day, right before I write the next scene, I will go back and read the scene before that I just wrote, just that one scene. So I can kind of get back into the same mindset that I was in when I wrote that scene to write the new scene. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It makes sense, and I'm the exact same way. Yeah, I am constantly editing everything that I write. As I'm writing it, I will probably maybe even more than Lily does. You know, if to stay focused. So there's this trap when you're writing. It's almost anything to do with that needs your attention. Actually, that you can't always be actively doing it the whole entire time, you know, like you need to take some kind of break, or even if it's not a break from the work, just kind of like you have to do something else for a second. And the trap there is that I've done all this writing for a bit, time to take a quick break and look at something else, and then an hour's gone by without you realizing it. So what I do when I need to stay focused on the work is that when I know that I'm out of writing juice for that moment, I need to let it recharge real quick. I will read back something that I just wrote, and I will make some editing changes, or I will like make a mental note of something that I need to fix for later. So like this, I'm constantly like trying to tweak things. Does this sound right? And then like Lily said, whenever I come back to something, I will often either read what I wrote last time or I will read the whole thing back, which makes me do like many changes as I go, and I'm tweaking things, and it translates to video work too. Often when I get back into a project, you know, like the next day I'm back into the video editor, I'll watch back like pretty much everything that I've already made, you know, in the preview timeline, you know, just to make sure does this line up properly? Did I miss something? Is something misspelled? Is there like a one frame like missing on this transition here, that sort of thing. I try not to do it on longer videos. I try to like as I go in, you know, because you know, like it might be like spend 3 hours every single day just watching the video back that I've already been making, but I'll try to like make it so like I only watch the last like the last 10 minutes or so when I get back into it, but usually it's something that I often do. Yeah. Then at the end when it's all done, it's I don't do as many passes again on the video editing as I do with writing. I think I probably do at most 3 when it comes to the video, like watching it back all the way through from start to finish to when it's done, to make sure that if there's anything else I need to change or tweak, or often there'll be something that I'm too lazy to do on my first pass through. I'm like, you know, I should really get an example of this and line it up properly with a bunch of different like shrink it down so I have like 5 different examples on the screen at the same time, or make like a grid of like 4 clips all on the screen. It's like I should really do that, or I should really dig through and find this fucking example of this thing happening that I can't find, and then I'll be like, no, I don't need to do it. And then when I'm finally done the video, I'll read it back. I'll watch it back, and I'll be like, God damn it, I really need to do that. And then I'll go back and I'll finally find that, and I'll finally do that thing that I procrastinated on. But with writing, it's usually way more edits than that. You want to make changes and you want to go through it, and that's before you even do your final read through, where you sit with a person and read it out loud. That's vital. Like, you have to do that unless you're hiring a copy editor, and even then the copy editor must do that too. You know, maybe they're doing it by themselves, but you have to read it out loud. If you're not reading it out loud, you're going to miss so many things.
It's a good way to keep your voice too, because you can easily you have characters that sound differently from each other, and you have a certain kind of tone that you're setting for the book, then you can easily get out of that, right, when you go about your daily stuff. So even if you're not changing anything in this particular read through, you're at least refreshing yourself enough that you'll have an easier transition, I think, going back into it. And I tend to write like fast and furious or not at all. So for me, if it's been not at all, then it really helps me a lot to go back and have a look at what
you write Fast and Furiously, or your books are like the Fast and Furious?
I write Fast and Furious.
Okay.
Like, right. I write a lot, and it, you know, bursting, or I take breaks, right, and I don't write anything for a period of time. So if you've been away from it especially, then it really helps you to constantly be going back to at least what you wrote last time. At least I can't imagine just picking up where I left off without doing that. Like it wouldn't sound like the same book. You know, it would sound like completely different.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, hard agree. V consent. It's like what John Irving speaks about, it being in one breath, right? The whole, from beginning to end, no matter how long it takes the book to be written, it should sound like it's all from the same person at the same point in their life, right?
Yeah.
He talks about in certain eras of his life, he favors different punctuation. Even he's like, sometimes he really likes using hyphens, sometimes he likes using semicolons. You know, a lot of short sentences, a lot of periods. You know, I really like hyphens. I use a lot of hyphens in my writing.
I do too, actually. Yeah, even the one I'm writing now, actually, I've been working on it for quite a while, and if you read from the very beginning, I tend to be influenced by what I'm reading at the time. Mm-hmm. So there's stuff from the beginning that was very stylistically different from the books that I was reading compared to what I'm reading currently. So even then, you kind of have to bridge a little bit the gap of like the kind of style I was more kind of short sentences and a lot of hyphens and just kind of not not going too far into detail or anything like that, like not having these huge paragraphs. It was more kind of snappy dialogue moving the story. And now they've gotten longer and longer as I've been going. The paragraphs are stretching because other things that I've been reading, I guess, are a little bit more in depth. So I've had to go back actually and add things here and there because I felt like they were a little bit too different. So yeah, it depends on a lot of things, but yeah, that's what I would do. I would read back from the beginning every so often, but always read the one you wrote before, either the chapter or the scene or whatever. And that's it from Alice 6.
And you have to edit. I don't know what kind of writer you are, but yeah, some writers hate editing, but you have to edit. Even if you're a student, you know, you're writing an essay, you're writing a paper, you have to edit it. You have to. And I really recommend reading it aloud with someone to catch it. You know, the ear will hear what the eyes don't. That sounded a lot smarter in my head before I said it out loud. You know, there's always going to be something that you'll catch when you read it out loud that you won't see. And if you have the time, if you have the luxury of a lot of time, it's really good when you're done with, you know, after you do your first draft and you edit it into your second or third draft. It's really good if you have this luxury of just filing it away and not looking at it for 6 months or so, maybe even a year. And then when you come back to it, you will have forgotten a lot of what you said. Because the thing about editing, and this is where editing is really important, is you have to just admit to yourself that you will always see, even if you're one of those writers that's kind of like, you know, oh, my stuff is shit, it's like you always know what you meant. So you will always see the best in your writing in a way that no one else will, even if you are one of those kind of writers that kind of hates on your own work. You know, you will always know what you meant. And there's no way to get around that. So, you know, like, you just need time to separate yourself. And it's amazing, actually. It really is amazing, like, how many times I've gone back to read something that I myself have written, and I'm reading it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this sentence, you know? What is this? Like, what was I thinking? What the fuck is this? And I hear it with coding too. Like, sometimes you'll be going through someone's code and you won't understand anything what they're doing, and you're getting mad at the person, and you're like, oh my god, who did this? And then you realize halfway through, oh, I coded this. This is me. You know, like, I'm the monster. So yeah.
I did this.
Yeah. It also helps if you are like borderline dyslexic like I am, or whatever it is that I have, that I will skip words like when I'm writing. Sometimes I even do it when I'm reading, you know, or I'll smash two sentences together in my head while I'm doing it. I don't know what I am, but it's something along the lines of that, like, no joke. Sometimes you'll see it on stream, you know, I will completely mangle two lines together. Usually I'm a little embarrassed by it.
Someone asked a couple times on stream. I write murder mysteries. They're on Amazon, like Joe's books. They're electronic. They're Kindle.
Oh, okay.
Someone's asked twice, so yeah. They're under Lily Evans. Lily with an I, not a Y. The Lily Evans who with a Y writes, I think, Harlequin stuff. That's not me.
Or is it?
It's not me. I wouldn't mind actually writing Harlequin stuff because I think you could get through it faster and kind of, you know, be a little bit more prolific with it, like throw it up a little bit faster. I tried once actually to write like a romance book, but I couldn't do it.
I could help you with that. I have a lot of sex writing experience from my AOL Instant Messenger days.
Okay.
So like
we can talk then.
Hashtag not kidding. We're gonna pass it off as a joke. Hashtag. Yeah. Read the previews and see if there's anything. If there's something that you would like.
There's 2 books there. Yeah. They're murder mysteries. The one I'm working on now, it's not up there because I'm working on it, but it's more of a psychological thriller type thing. I'm trying to get out of just murder mysteries, branch out a little bit. But yeah. So yeah, Lily Evans, Lily with an I, not a Y.
Writing is tough. Okay, let's do one more from Twitch, and then we will consider stopping and going to bed. But before I forget, thank you, Haltfire302, for the 8-month resub with a heart emote. Right back at you, Haltfire302. Sorry that it took us so long to see it. Thank you so much.
Hey, Haltfire.
Hope you're well. What should Haltfire get? 8 months in the... Kawaii Club?
Yeah, maybe. I'm trying to think.
The Konnichiwa
It's
crew?
not quite the waifu womb because it's a month short.
The waifu womb.
Been to any good Papa Roach concerts lately?
Have you guys read House of Leaves? If so, any thoughts? I have read House of Leaves and I like it, but linking back to what we were just talking about, there were too many sections in House of Leaves that was just straight up porn, and I was like, okay, I don't know what the point of this is. I don't know why there's so much porn. There's just like House of Leaves alternates between this mystery about this house and oh, it's a mimic, and this guy who's collating all the information about it, and him having sex with a bunch of women, and it's just porn, and it's obviously like meant to be like this isn't actually happening. He's bragging about things that didn't happen, but it's like yeah, I don't understand why it's so explicit. So yeah. It's very pornographic. It's so pornographic, and it's kind of grossly pornographic that it definitely has a point. But it's just kind of like, whoa, it's like a real big tone change. But maybe not. Maybe the guy got away with writing porn. But I like the book. I think about it quite a bit actually. It's one of those books that's lingered with me. I enjoyed it. Oh, we're dead. Cool. Alright, so this will probably be the last run, I think. Let's see what happens.
Tal?
Tal?
Tal.
Okay.
Hello to both Joe and Lily. Your stream is the only stream I watch, and I really enjoy your commentary and the community that was formed around it. On to the questions.
Thank you, Tal. It's a really nice comment. I like our community too. I kind of have to say that, but I also mean it. I have no way to prove it to you guys, but yeah, I really like our community. I consider us very lucky.
Yeah. You've mentioned in an earlier Q&A that most of the writers you knew hated writing and rather enjoy having written something. Another writing question. This holds true for me, and I was wondering if you have any tips to share on how to grow diligent and consistent when it comes to writing. I haven't been doing this for long, but I really struggle to write more than 1 to 2 hours max every day. So that's already more diligent and than me. So I will just keep
enough.
my mouth shut from this.
Like seriously, that's enough. Like that's more than most writers. That's more than most writers that you've heard of a day. Yeah. If there are some days that you do even more than that and you get really engaged, like seriously, that's like maybe that's not enough for you for your goals or whatever, but that's enough. Like when I was into writing, like really writing fiction, I would do more than that regularly, so I can give you some tips and things that work for me. And when I do script writing, I don't know why script writing I find a lot easier to sink into, and I can just write all day. You know, like that's something I can do, thankfully. Although some scripts not that. I think God of War was one of the ones I couldn't do that, so that's where we get into problems where I think that the script writing is going to take the usual rate, and then it turns out that it takes a hell of a lot longer. Yeah, there have been some exceptions, but yeah, that's pretty good, so you should be happy with that amount. So the first thing is that kind of a general kind of thing that can apply to anyone, which I think is that it's just a problem that we're going to have to, as a society, that we're going to have to really face sometime soon. Maybe we should be facing it already, and that's social media addiction or internet addiction in general. So there's the thing about Google is that Google has all the information ever, and we have more distractions at our fingertips than ever before, especially if you use your phone to browse the internet a lot, which I don't do. So I'm lucky that I've never got into that, but I think that could be like even more destructively distracting if you use your phone to browse a lot. I think that it's a good thing ultimately, and it's really great that we have so many sources of information, but it still is like all of the combined information that humankind has just like waiting there for you to just type your question in. And as we're learning now, it's even more insidious than that, because these people that own the search engines and the websites that those search engines go to are also trying to make you stay on them for as long as they possibly can, because they want your ad revenue, they want your eyes. they get money for it, so they want to keep you engaged. And to some extent, if the algorithm makes it happen, they want to make you angry. They want to keep you like seething. If they can get you seething and keep you clicking on somebody, or some kind of content, then they'll do that. So not only are you fighting against yourself, you're also fighting against these algorithms that are being perfected by machine learning and really intelligent developers and coders and stuff, and that have billion-dollar companies behind them making them happen. It happens on Twitter sometimes, and I wonder about it. Like there are some people I follow on Twitter that I really wish I was not following on Twitter, but I kind of feel like it would be rude to unfollow them, and I like some of the stuff that they say other times. It's not all the time, but then those are the kind of tweets that I end up reading the most, because I'm going down my timeline and I'm like, I see it, and then all of a sudden I'm like I'm a little mad, and I'm just kind of hovering over it, and I'm just kind of like, should I stop following this person? Oh man, they're at it again. They're on their bullshit. And then I end up not doing it because I don't want to be rude. I feel like every single time that happens, I feel like there's a little bot in the algorithm that's like, oh, he lingered. Show this more. Show more content like this. Push more people that are like this on. Because I swear to God, that's probably what they do, right? Because they can track that sort of thing. Yeah. So I kind of think that the deck is stacked against you, but you have to find a way to do that, to limit your engagement with that, and limit the amount of, first of all, you have to limit the amount of chances that you get sucked into that vortex, and then after that you have to limit the amount of time that you do when you do get sucked into the vortex. So something that do you want to talk about the schedule thing? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So something that works for Lily is that she will not intensely, but she'll log what she did every hour of a day.
I do doubly, actually. I make a list at the beginning of the day of all the things that I should do, and it's an extensive list. So there's stuff on there I will never get to, but I put it on there just so I won't forget. And then I cross it off my list, and then I log it after. So I'm doing it doubly, so that I feel accomplished and that I crossed it off, but at the same time I have record of it. That you can continue now. I just wanted to say
no, it's okay. So it's, the idea is to just keep track of what you were doing throughout a day, and it's not to keep you, making sure that you're doing things actively throughout the whole entire day as you're logging it, but it's so you can look back at the end of the day and see how many areas did you waste time in, how many hours did I end up just sitting there doing pretty much nothing as I click on Reddit, click on Twitter, that sort of thing. So once you realize how much time you're spending on that, you might be like, oh wow, this is actually a problem. Or you might realize that, okay, this actually isn't the problem. I'm lucky enough that I don't have this internet addiction problem, and I need to focus on other areas of my life. Maybe you're spending too much time, watching streams, or you're spending.
It could be anything.
Yeah, you're spending too much time tugging it. You know what I mean?
Sometimes,
it's who knows?
Sometimes it's legitimate, and it's the kids got rowdy or something, and I lost the hour. It's between the three of them, they all needed something, or whatever. But other times I feel like I was waiting too much for a perfect opportunity to do something. And so they would interrupt me, or I would look at it and be like, this is a huge to sit down and write. I'd be like, well, I can't do that scene now because it's kind of a complicated scene, and they're going to interrupt me, and I can't really pay attention to what I'm doing while I'm watching them. So I'll just do it later, and then later never comes, right? So it's like that for a lot of things. I should go and clean the bathroom, but that's kind of a production. I'll do that later because I can't commit that time right now. And I've kind of just been tricking myself into doing it where I don't have to write the whole scene, I just have to write a paragraph. Or I don't have to clean the whole bathroom, I just have to go and do part of it. And choose imperfect moments instead of waiting for a perfect moment, and just kind of grab them whenever they can, because you feel like shit when you look at your log afterward and you only did one or two things for the whole hour. Whereas when you do 2 lines worth of stuff, you're like, yeah, I kicked ass that hour. I look at all the things that I did, So it's supposed to be where is your time lost, to keep you aware of it, but at the same time it becomes almost competitive that you want to do more because you want it to have been worth it. I'm noticing a lot of things that I maybe had the time for, but I really didn't think I did. And now I'm getting a lot more accomplished because I'm just grabbing whatever moment I can grab.
But you looking after the kids is basically a like two full-time jobs in one that you're trying to juggle with time management elsewhere at the same time. Whereas, like I'm assuming that the problem that most writers have is that they have the time to write, but they don't. They're spending it more on free time. So that helps you realize like where your time is going. But you can also set timers whenever, like, this is hard to do, but if you're the kind of person that can set a timer on your phone or whatever, like, you need to acknowledge the fact, hey, I'm taking a break. Or whenever you actively, like, a stopwatch might be better, so you don't have to pull like the phone, like the timer app on your phone or whatever, that you can like start a timer and be like, okay, I'm taking a break from writing, but it's only gonna be 20 minutes, and then once that alarm goes off, I need to go right back to it, or I need to make a conscious decision that I'm done for the day. But the big thing that this is the last piece of advice I can give you, because this is the one that worked for me. Like, nothing else really worked for me except for this one. Was that, and this dates back to before we had kids. Was that I can do, like my free time. I can do whatever I want with it as long as I put in my word count or my hours. It was like, no matter what, even if I end up doing like no writing, it's just not coming out that day. I don't really believe in writer's block, so it's like, no matter what, like, I'm gonna sit here for 3 to 4 hours, and I'm going to put in my time of writing. And if I write 10 words, then that's fine, but I'm just going to sit here and stare at it until for that time. And if I write 6,000 words, then that's great too, and I don't remember, like, with those rules, I don't remember a single day that I did not write more than, say, 1,000 words. Like, there were no 10-word days. It just didn't happen, because it would just be like, okay, well, if I'm here and there's nothing else I can do, then I'm going to put my time in and I'm going to do it. And there was also the reward of, like, if I end up writing a lot faster, and I get like thousands and thousands of words done in like 2 hours, then my time is done over sooner, and then I can read it back. I can enjoy having that I've written something, and then I can like have guilt-free video game time or TV time or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So that's what it was. So this practice is usually called not boiling the frog, eating the frog. There's a lot of frogs in a lot of those sayings. Eating the frog, which is that there's a task on your list of things to do that day, and it's the worst one. It's eating a frog, and you really, really don't want to do it, so you kind of like let it go, and you it's like it keeps getting pushed back. You really don't want to do it because it's eating a frog, and it's like it's getting in the way now, and you're dreading it, and now you're starting to feel guilty. You haven't done it yet, and you're not even enjoying all the other things that you're doing instead of eating this frog. So just eat the fucking frog. So that's what I did. That's what worked for me the best, is eat the frog. And I think that's it. That's like three strategies, right?
You can set alarms and stuff too if that works for you. It doesn't really work for me, but some people swear by alarms, right? Like to if you're going to take a break and stuff, you're only going to take a 20-minute break, set an alarm so you don't, 20 minutes doesn't become an hour, right?
Or a big long Stardew Valley thing with Finn.
I can't say no to that kid. I feel so bad. He's the way he looks at you after. Please, can we please start?
I know.
Valley? Please.
If he's like just genuine like that, like, okay, like he's a cute kid, but if he's like manipulating us, he's really good at it, huh? Yeah. He's really good. You can't pick up gold as a sheep. Did Tal have another question? And I think we're gonna stop after that, everybody.
Yes. I was wondering if you have some thoughts on the lack of creating a personality in role-playing games nowadays. It seems having a skill tree, using powers, choosing from a class, and having a story with meaningless choices is what qualifies for an RPG game. When playing Fallout New Vegas recently, I remembered how fun it is to build a character with a certain personality and to watch as that character is manifested in the game world. That feeling is something that I find it hard to come by in these times. Thanks again for your time, and you are the best weeb streamer on the web, for real.
Wow. Okay. It was a nice comment until that. Yeah, so I think that that's what RPG should mean. RPG should mean, but it doesn't mean that because video games are weird, and it's like it's a dead term. It's like RPG for a long time just meant like hit points and mana and experience systems and everything, and now every game has those because game designers have realized that people love getting enthralled by progression loops, and that drip of progress is a really easy way of getting players engaged and to keep them playing. You know, like it's so easy to just slap on a stat system and well, comparatively easy to slap on a stat system and have it be like, oh, you got XP, oh, you're getting stronger, oh, keep at it, you know. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame because you know, like, it doesn't really make sense on any other case apart from the one that you're saying, you know, like it's a role-playing game, you're playing a role, you're playing the role of Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider game, you know what I mean? Like, any game is a role-playing game at that point, but some people still make that argument. Oh, Mario is an RPG, you're playing the role of the Italian plumber Mario, you gotta save Princess fucking Peach, you know what I mean? Like, it makes no fucking sense, and then having just the stat system be it makes no sense either, because almost every game has that kind of thing nowadays, and like I just said. So yeah, I think the and to go back on to again, like, and for a while it was like any game that had like a really in-depth story and put a lot of time into the story was an RPG, because, you know, that's what fit, because not many games did that back then, and now we have like stories in almost every single game. So yeah, I think that that what you're saying is right, but I don't know how to convince everyone else of it. Maybe we're there. Maybe we're there already. Maybe we don't need to convince anybody. But yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm interested in playing the Outer Worlds quite a bit to see if it lets that happen. Because I have a feeling that it might not be quite as New Vegas-y as I'm expecting. But we'll see. I think New Vegas is pretty good. But I still think other games could do better. Summon egg. I kind of felt like I had way more to say about that, and now I feel kind of done. So maybe I'm tired, but also maybe not. I don't know. Sorry. I think a lot of games don't really. I think even games that let you do that still don't embrace the amount of choices you can have properly, and the way to express yourself in that, you know. It always kind of bothered me in New Vegas that there were a lot of character options that implied that your character had this whole entire life that you have no idea about and you can only kind of infer, but at the same time some people might really enjoy that kind of part of it, you know. So I don't know. There's a part specifically in one of the random encounters where you can you imply that you might have a kid somewhere, you know. It's like, oh, that's like a big deal, huh? You know, like just in this random part you can be like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a kid, you know, like. And I don't know if that's good for being an RPG game, but maybe it's an opportunity to make that a part of your character, right? It's like, are the options canon only if you say them? Like, if the character option is there to say something like, hey, you know, it's possible you might be my kid, is that, if your character doesn't say it, is that still something that they thought and it's still part of their backstory? Or is it only there because you said it? Huh. That's something interesting to think about. Is it only canon if you choose it? What's the best game for that, chat? We'll leave it at there. What does chat think is the best game for that kind of thing, where you can build a character and there's a lot of ways to express that kind of character that you've built through like options and gameplay systems and the like, but mostly like role-playing options? Fallout 76, Minecraft. Dragon Age Origins, do you think so? Noita, you should play it more. Disco Elysium, no joke. Yeah, Disco Elysium might be up there, yeah. It's hard to not do that, though. I think Origins is one of the best since you pick how your character grows. Otherwise, your character has a whole life outside the story you're doing it. Yeah, it's true. It is difficult to do it, yeah. D&D, yeah, we're talking about games. Baldur's Gate. Surely the most committed way to do that is to have a game where there's no pre-written dialogue and you just control your character's actions. Yeah, that's a way to avoid doing it, yeah. Joe, what'd I do? Huh?
Is it your talking about games thing?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's related to that.
Oh, is it?
I'm guessing.
Video games. Video games.
Hey man, I love your YouTube channel and I miss your videos. I hope you and your wife are doing great. I wanted to know if you have played Sekiro and if there's going to be any plans of reviewing it.
I've played a bunch of times. There's going to be a video on it after the Witcher video is done. It was going to be before the Witcher video, but that turned out not to be possible. So it's I completely lost where we're going. I'm really tired. Sorry. We have to stop. I'm fading. Got up too early to get the dishwasher installed. Yeah.
Your jab at D&D was the Jill.
It wasn't. Sorry. Did it come across as a jab? It wasn't meant to be a jab. It was like I said game when I should have said video game. I'm sorry. It wasn't a jab. Undertale makes you feel like there's a lot of choice. Yeah, but still with yeah. In some ways, yeah. There's also like pure gameplay builds like you can get in the Smash Indie hit Dark Souls, where you can decide I'm gonna play like this really heavy, slow armored guy with big weapon, and I'm just gonna tank everything and don't worry about the about dodging and stuff, or I'm just gonna be like really big on shields and all this other stuff. Yeah, like, I think that's one of the better game series that does like gameplay role playing. IMO. Oh, we get to do a nuke on this thing. Alright, I don't even know what nuke does. But we're gonna find out. By God, we're gonna find out. Let's go find out what the nuke does, and that'll be the end of the stream. Revenge explosion. Let's get that too. That sounds like it's fun. Okay, so do we like go down and fire it, or should we just fire it down right now and see what happens? Alright, let's find out.
Anger the gods.
What do you mean we've angered the god? Oh my god, look at the damage. Holy shit. That didn't happen. That didn't go like I thought it was going to. I want to do it again. No, get the health, get the health, get the health. Just wondering, aside from Ace Attorney and Persona, are you interested in any other Wii games of any kind? Just an FYI, since you mentioned them earlier, but AI is only around 25 hours long, while the Zero Escape trilogy can take up to 100. Still way shorter than Danganronpa. Yeah, those, I'm interested in those. I don't think there's any other Wii games that I'm really all interested in, sorry. Maybe the Yeast series, or is the YS series. Alright, we got another nuke, boys and girls. Oh, what's this? Is this the gods that have been angered? Are you friendly? No, 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 no. Okay.
By the way, was my question deleted because I don't see it anywhere? Post it again. Just in case, but I don't know, maybe you see it? Or maybe you hated my question so much on Patreon. Didn't we do Action Caterer last time? Because didn't I confuse Action Caterer with Assistant Weeb because I thought they both started with A and I got confused?
I can't remember.
I thought we did.
We can check after I get through this, sorry.
Or I'm confusing them again, but I could have sworn we did.
Oh no! No, 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 no. Exploding corpses, breathless. Exploding corpses, exploding corpses. Alright. Go. Fall, 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 fall. Shit! Nuke! Nuke! Shit! Oh no, we've angered the gods again. No. He's still here! Alright, we died. Oh, we died. Alright, well, that was fun. That was fun. I should have nuked the god and seen what happened. Maybe we could have killed him. Let me see. Action Caterer. No, we didn't answer Action Caterer's questions. Let me see if you're on the list.
There.
Yeah, you're here. You are, let's see. Some Jabroni is the last person we answered on Patreon. So we have Sulkrat, Paulo P, Dor S, Ryan C, and then you, Action Caterer. That's the order that they came in. Was it deleted on Patreon? If it is, we still have it. Like, don't worry. I need to add the other Patreon questions onto here, but this is like about halfway done. So I'm guessing we have at least like 3 more nights, maybe 4, to get through this round of questions. So yeah, that's us done, guys. You have until tomorrow at midnight if you want to submit some questions on the Discord chat room. Yeah, so there are rules there, and you can throw it in, and yeah, and that's how it goes. The Patreon will be closed tomorrow at midnight too. I think I didn't say that, but I think maybe I'll like post in the morning, like, hey, the last 12 hours or whatever. But I think anyone who's gonna say some questions has already done it. Yeah. How do I join that Discord? I think that the Discord link that we have in Nightbot is broken. I think someone told me that. I need to fix it. But let's see. Create invite. Send a server. How do I make an instant invite? Edit channel. I thought I just clicked on here, create an invite. The one on Twitter should work. Let me see. Oh, it's gone. I got rid of it. Oh shit, I'm terrible at this. Did they change it? I thought like you just clicked on it and it was like, and it gave you a bunch of like letters and shit, and you just do that. Is this it? Hold on. Let me message you, Lily. Yeah, there we go. I think it's like this. There you go. That should do it. There's a link. Sorry, they changed it. I'm confused. What's the game on Tuesday? We're probably going to play Katana Zero, and then we'll like say like which day we're going to play Outer Worlds on, and we'll do a day of Outer Worlds. And I think in November, I think we're going to play Death Stranding, and we're going to play the Fallen Jedi game. I think that's what we're going to do. But if Death Stranding is like this really long, kind of like really, really heavy story game that people are going to get really into, then maybe we won't do Death Stranding for more than a couple streams. We'll see. Anyway, that link should work. Do I need to link my Twitch to Discord? You do if you want to see that chat room. Yeah, the Discord is frozen right now apart from those 2 chat rooms. Yeah. Death Stranding is most definitely going to be long, dude. It's a Kojima game. Yeah, but some of his other games haven't been that long. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Maybe it's not going to be long for us because maybe we don't have to commit to finishing it. Anyway, we are getting out of here, everybody. Thank you for stopping by, and this Q&A felt a little better once it got going, but it had a rougher beginning than most of the other ones. So yeah, I think we can continue doing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we also got up really early.
Yeah.
This morning. So.
But it seemed like it was okay. I felt like I was giving somewhat long answers, but not getting too long either.
Yeah, I thought you were better today.
Yeah, not waffling on too much. I want to try doing an RPG where you pick a character's personality from a list and the game swaps certain lines based on that. Probably be a ton of work though, sort of like how you pick your character's voice in SR3 or Code Vein, except with text. I think Disco Elysium does something like that, doesn't it? And some of the Fallout games have done something similar, but it's more like a tweak instead of a completely different. Yeah. What happens in the Nier video? Long story, but it might still happen. But if it does, it'll be all the Nier games. It won't just be Automata. You can blame Nier fans for that. They didn't like that it was just going to be on Automata, so I canceled it. But it might still come back. We'll see. Anyway, see you guys later.
Good night, everybody.
Have a good weekend.